June 10th. 46 days to escape. Here, as I was shown and told as all high priestesses learn of the Abomination Abilsin, I will tell you the story of the Celestial Daughter Seru. Let me tell you of how wise she was, how ignorant of the word folly, the arrogance of power. It was in her 5th year of being a celestial daughter. It saddened her that she had never given birth to a girl child before she was elevated to the red robe. She consulted the goblet of Druj and used the scrying bowl to tell her of the child to be. She chose to use the relics over her ability in order that Druj would not know of her plan. The child's name was to be Mupallidat. She was to have a great journey in her life, possibly the greatest of us all. What she did not tell us, her daughter will carry a dark shadow within her. Seru went to the capital. For her daughter, she must have the line of kings flowing through her veins. She was the celestial daughter. None could tell her a pig is a pig, royal or not. The royal line that the child is attached to has a powerful ancestral lineage. All royal lines have a god or goddess in their lineage. Her daughter will have that power. Seru transformed into a guard. When she was in another section of the city, she would transform into another till she reached the palace. Then Seru became a royal guard. It is then she looked for her prey. He was laying in the sun, sweat glistening on his olive skin, a slave with cool water for his brow. Seru blinded the guards and the slave to her presence. She made her prey think she was the most trusted guard of the royal family. Prince Marduk naughty, it is good I caught you at rest. Remember that I promised you the treasure of treasures from your father's last campaign. An unpolished gem of a rare beauty that I had to personally guard as we came back to the capital. It was not for fear of her running away, but to keep the camp from claiming her for their own. I bring you a temple virgin, a temple dedicated to your namesake. She understands you are the god Marduk made manifest. She wishes to serve her god the only way she knows. Now my young prince, lead the way to your chamber. She has a look to her that you will find most pleasing, my prince. One look at her and your loins will yearn for her. Now my prince, you must do as she tells you. The River Valley temple virgins are trained for the pleasure of their god made manifest. The guard pours the young prince a cup of wine and then puts several herbs into it. Here, my prince, drink, you will have the vitality till you have a stub left between your legs. The guard slaps the prince's back. May the gods and goddess keep you fleet of foot so that the demon Druj is always a step behind my prince. With that the guard leaves. The temple virgin walks into the room. The prince is filled with lust. She looks as a younger vision of the queen, his mother. As all learned people know, the family line of the kings is a very incestuous line. The prince himself is the 6th generation without the influence of a lesser line. I am your first cousin, my prince. My name is Seru. Your mother approves of our joining. Seru begins to undress the prince, kissing and licking him, rubbing him from his feet to his neck, promising him that his child to be shall rule once his brilliance is ready to join the gods in the sky. My prince, as the god King Marduk was bound to receive the gifts of each god, so he may slay the mother of chaos Tiamat, so the god king made manifest must be bound to receive the gift of his handmaiden. Seru goes to the window curtain and removes its rope. My handsome prince, you are not being bound, but allowing your essence to be set free to become one with the god king himself. It is only at the moment of release of your essence of man is when you shall attain godhood. I place on you a cloth to blind you, so when you become one with our god king you shall see the world as a god does. Now my handsome prince, let me lead you to your bed so I may start you on your journey, your path to be one with the gods. Seru mounted the prince. She kept him from releasing his essence as she rode him, chanting the chants of power, life, and strength to quicken her womb. Seru builds his ecstasy for far longer than he would have been able to last. With her mental magics, she has kept him on the edge of an orgasm for 20 minutes. He is crying out in joy and pain as she rides him. Her womb is prepared. The sacrifice shall now give his essence for her daughter that will rival the powers of the gods. You are the last of your pathetic family line, you pig Marduk. Seru rips off the blindfold. She shakes her head. The face of his royal guard looks down at him. I see the gods did not bless you a fleet foot, my prince, for the celestial daughter of Druj rides you to your death. The prince is unable to scream. She shakes her head again. It is of the temple virgin. Is my pig ready to give me his essence of man? She shakes her head one last time. Sarah's true visage looks down at him. She raises her arms and pulls out her mother blade from thin air. Seru places the edge of the blade on his throbbing jugular. By my dark goddess Druj, give to me your life so my daughter may have life, pig. She unlocks his block from releasing his essence. It shoots deep inside of Seru. She can feel life begin in her womb. Slicing the royal pig's throat, her dance in his blood begins. She smears his life essence over her womb, cupping his blood and smearing it into her vulva. My Prince Marduk, thank you, Tiamat is avenged. The prince lies dead, now to bring chaos and war among friends. Seru cuts his member off and places it in his mouth. She then places a royal coin from a city-state with the position of favorable trade and friend status on his brow. The royal guard leaves the royal section. As Seru gets to the city gates, a bell starts to ring constantly. A beggar man leaves the city with a smile on his face. With daughter and division achieved, she creates a door and is back at the temple where her daughter will grow to be a woman, where she will be trained as a daughter of Druj, trained to be a celestial daughter, stronger than any before or after. The magics that Seru cast that quickened her womb had consequences she did not foresee. What should have taken 9 months till birth, her daughter is ready to be born in 5 months. Seru knew she would not survive the birth of her daughter. As a child of a celestial daughter, Mupallidat will be born with the knowledge of all the magics. Seru will not be the one to train her for understanding the magics. She will not have the joy to train her daughter to understand the world that only she knew. It will take years for her to gain understanding. She will be trained by others who will not treasure her light of destiny. Seru knew what she must do. Mupallidat, her daughter, will be a celestial daughter, the greatest of all. Seru has been in the birthing chamber for 12 hours screaming in pain, refusing the herbs to smooth the pains of birth. The midwives realize that the celestial daughter will not leave the chamber alive. At hour 20 the child's head begins to crown. Seru has been drawing from the birth pain for one last magical act. Using the power of birth is one of the 10 most powerful magical acts one can do. She feels Mupallidat is almost free of her mother's temple. With a sound of a growling demon coming from Seru. The air in the room is filled with a wind, sending everything not tied down in the room flying. A storm cloud covers the ceiling, static electricity fills the air. The midwives fight to stay standing, protecting the child. The midwives are frightened by the celestial daughter's unrestrained power. The umbilical cord is ready to cut. Seru screams, "For my beloved daughter, I give you a mother's gift of love. Druj, I give unto you my daughter, for she is also your daughter." With that last act, the celestial daughter starts her path to the land of the damned, as all daughters of Druj are destined. The last act of a mother's love was to give Mupallidat the understanding of the magics as Seru knew them, and also a voice to guide her. An act that was heresy. Each daughter must come to their own understanding, so they will use the power with wisdom. Unlike the priests of Ahura Mazda, who are given the knowledge and the power to use without a cost, they do not understand the ways of magic, they become power-mad tyrants. Now my daughters, let me show and tell that only a high priestess is shown and told. You must keep this secret until you raise one of your daughters to a high priestess, then you as a high priestess will tell her this tale once, and only once she will be bound by the burden of secrecy of the power-mad daughter of a heretic Mupallidat and the Abomination Abilsin. At age 10, Mupallidat is a temple daughter. They clean the temple, clean the sleeping chambers, wash the clothing, the kitchen, the communal eating room, also the communal stool room. She rarely cleaned. After talking to one of her sisters, they would always cheerfully take the burden from her. She would run outside alone and practice the mental magics, hand chants, and spell work that came so easy for her. Most thought it was strange when Mupallidat thought she was alone. She would be seen talking to her dead mother as if she was there. At 13, Mupallidat had her bloom of womanhood. She advanced to be a daughter. With ease, she sped to each level almost too quickly. At 14, she proved her understanding of the magics. She was raised to the title of priestess. At 15, she had her own daughter to train. At 17, she led a raid with a small troop of daughters and priestesses on a temple of Ahura Mazda. The battle was overwhelming for their small troop. She was about to call a windstorm so they may escape. She sang her praise for Druj, for the life she had, and was in sorrow, not able to continue fighting for her goddess. Then as only those who love their goddess deep in their essence. For her it was a mother's love. Druj and Mupallidat commanded her to raise her arms and draw forth her mother's lover. Mupallidat did as her goddess commanded. Her hand went into the land of the damned. She felt a hand grasp her arm, she grasped it back, and a feminine voice begs her to give her the essence of the false god's priests and his worshippers. She pulled out the mother blade. The hilt is a bloodied hand and arm of a tortured essence of a man grasping onto Mupallidat's arm. The scimitar is silver, and all in her troop can hear the song of the scimitar in their minds. Screaming, telling them to fight for your goddess Druj, bathe in the blood of the false god king pigs. When Mupallidat slew a pig, she could hear their essence scream as they went to Druj's waiting arms. In the end, 2 daughters lay dead, and all the worshippers of the false god, 25 and all lay dead. The temple is ransacked of the valuables, defiled, that which could not be stolen was destroyed or defaced. When 2 high priestesses are able to draw a mother blade, the high priestess who has wielded the mother blade the longest is elevated to wear the red robe, to be the physical representation of Druj on earth. There has not been a celestial daughter since Seru died. Sometimes it could be decades between celestial daughters. Mupallidat did not wait, destiny called her. Upon entering the temple, she searched for Sala, who has wielded her mother blade for 5 years. Sala hugged her sister, congratulating her for being a blade sister. Mupallidat asked if they could talk in private. Sala agreed and they went to her room. Mupallidat asked if they could be in unity since there are ears in the walls and a scrying bull watching them more than likely. Sala could not believe the amount of paranoia from her sister, but she understands the need for privacy. Sala opened her mind and allowed her sister in. The landscape Sala created so they would be comfortable while they talked. It was of a stream she played by as a child. The light was twilight with birds singing in the trees. So, sister, what do you wish to talk about? I wish to talk of my mother's prophecy that I will elevate to the red robe. I understand, Mupallidat. I was fearful that another sister would not call a mother blade forth, making me unable to wear the red robe. You have given me the greatest honor a daughter can achieve. Yes, it is the greatest of honor to have converse with Druj, Sala. To command the daughters and they will follow your will without hesitation. But I have a problem with the ascension to the red robe. I may never have another chance to be the celestial daughter. Since one who can draw a blade is fickle and only a true lover of Druj can call one. So, I propose that you allow me to ascend. As my handmaiden, you can live a very comfortable life. Sala stared at her sister. You are so serious all the time, it is hard to tell when you are joking. I was not joking, Sala. I am the one who will ascend. My mother saw it, so it will be. Your mother died in your birth, she never told you such a thing. Leave now and I will ignore this heresy coming from your lips. Sala, it is not heresy but prophecies. She used the goblet of Druj and the offering bowl to scry. They showed her my ascension. Mother still talks to me to this very day. Before she died, she gave me the understanding of all the magics. Her knowledge, but most importantly a shard of her essence, to guide me. We are closer than any mother and daughter ever were or will be. By age 3, I was more powerful than any of you cows. Can you imagine understanding all material and spiritual at the age of 3? Even though I walked and talked as an adult, I was treated as a child. Being a temple daughter was beneath me. I used my mental magics on my sisters, so I rarely worked. Instead, I would practice the magics guided by my mother's hand. How can you even think that you could be a celestial daughter with the fear of confinement and darkness? It is the worst kept secret in the temple. Sala, a celestial daughter, knows no fear to stay her hand. She must be as strong and cruel as Druj and Mupallidat herself. And I refuse to be a handmaid to someone with fear in her heart. Now Sala, I ask you again, will you by your free will allow me to ascend according to my mother's prophecy? Leave me be Mupallidat, the heretic. And pray that Druj is merciful to your essence in the land of the damned. You leave me no choice, Sala, but to make it your free will to give me the red robe. Sala brings forth a sand golem to attack Mupallidat. It does not make it 5 feet before a windstorm dissipates it. The birds become falcons and attack Mupallidat. The birds fall dead as they get close to her. The roots and branches of the trees encase Mupallidat. The forest bursts into flames. Sala is where her seat of power is. She realizes too late this child is playing with her. She starts to draw the power of her very essence, using hand chants to expel Mupallidat from her mind. Then Sala is in a small white room. She pounds on the walls, unable to draw her mother blade to cut her way to freedom. Mupallidat is blocking her. Then she sees the room begins to shrink and darken. Sala screams. Mupallidat sits on a coffin. I asked you, Sala, but you forced my hand. Now I must walk through your mind and change some memories and your thoughts of the red robe. I asked by your free will, so it shall be when I am done. Now, sister, let's dispel this silly landscape of yours to see your mind as it truly is. The landscape changes where the leaves of memories and rocks of thought appear scattered around. The leaves are the memories of Sala's. You just need to pick one up and hold it in your palms and you can see, feel and hear her memories as she experienced them. The rocks of thought are small to large, depending on how long Sala thought of something. The larger, the stronger it will be. Mupallidat sings a song, raises her hand, leaves are caught in a light wind, they come to her open hand. She cups her hands with the leaves between them, then whispers to them. Mupallidat opens her hands, blowing on the leaves, and they go back to where they came from. She begins to walk the land looking for the rock of a celestial daughter. Standing in front of a medium-sized boulder. Well, Sala, you have thought much about this, I see. Mupallidat kneels, placing her hand on the rock. Yes, mother, I know what to do. Do not begin to doubt me now. The rock begins to ripple as Mupallidat sings to it. As the singing rises in volume, her face begins to turn red, sweat pours off her brow. Finished, Mupallidat sits down, wiping her brow. It was harder than she imagined to change another's mind about something they longed for their whole life for. Mupallidat dissolves the coffin. Sala lays on the ground in a fetal position, crying and twitching. Mupallidat caresses Sala's face. Blade sister, it is over. You need not burden yourself with the worry of you not being worthy of the red robe. Your dear friend is here to remove that burden and fear. You shall be my handmaiden, Blade sister. Now sleep. When you wake you will not remember any of this. As Mupallidat leaves Sala's room, one of the temple cats crosses her path, hair sticking up, arched back, hissing at her. None ever liked her. None has ever acted like this to her before. One of her first edicts is to get the revolting beasts banished. 1 week later, the temple is busy with activities for the final preparation of the rites. Fresh sacred herbs are gathered, beer made, several oxen and pigs are slain and pit roasted. This is to last 2 to 3 weeks. High priestesses from the other 3 temples arrived with treasures for the new celestial daughter. As expected, each brought priests who worship Enlil, and Enki, Marduk, Nana, and Ahura Mazda, 10 in all. They are to be used as the dye to make the red robe. Until needed, they are being dominated by the mental magic of several priestesses. They are facing the temple wall unmoving with a basket of rocks behind them to be thrown at them until they are to be bled. The temple daughters would gather up the rocks for the basket. Even though they were not to cast a stone, they would throw 1 or 2 at them, doing a little girl laugh. None of the priestesses admonished them. This is a celebration, let the temple daughters have their fun. Sala is being treated with honors, gifts, and important discussions of new trade deals with the 3 other temples. A celestial daughter is not just the spiritual leader, but she is the political leader, also the judge, jury, and executioner of the daughters of Druj. In her time as celestial daughter, rarely she let a daughter live. A celestial daughter is the papess who only answers to her goddess Druj and Gramenu. Breaking tradition, Sala invites Mupallidat, the soon-to-be handmaiden who is never far away from her, to all the pivotal talks. She does not even tell Mupallidat to be quiet when she puts forth an opinion. Day 1 has arrived. The oldest priestess Karaindash stands before a proud kneeling Sala. A scimitar raised over her head. Karaindash invokes the wisdom, perseverance, and strength of Druj and Gramenu for the trials ahead of the priestess Sala. Karaindash starts to sprinkle the twice-dammed water with an acacia branch on Sala. Sala, are you ready to harmonize to begin your journey, your path to the red robe that awaits for you? All in the temple see Sala's shoulders droop. With her voice trembling, no, I cannot. All know of my fear of confinement and darkness. I cannot wear the red robe with fear in my heart. I pass the red robe to she who truly deserves the honor, my blade sister. I pass the robe to the daughter of the wise and powerful Celestial Daughter Seru. With my free will, I give the joy, burden, and sorrow of the red robe to Mupallidat. May her reign be long and in peaceful times. May she meet adversity with the strength and cruelty of the goddess Druj and Gramenu. I give Mupallidat, my blade sister, the red robe and shall serve as her handmaiden. All the daughters in the temple are silent. This has only happened 3 times in the line of celestial daughters. Sala stands next to Mupallidat, her head down. The old priestess calls Mupallidat to kneel before her. Have you fasted for a week? Yes, Karaindash, I fasted with Sala. Have you bathed in the twice-dammed water? Yes, Karaindash bade me too. Are you ready to harmonize to begin your journey, your path to the red robe that waits for you? Yes, with my free will I shall wear the mantle of the red robe. The temple daughters place a small dais in front of Mupallidat, a silver bowl is placed on it, a silver knife is placed in Mupallidat's hand. She cuts a finger and lets 2 drops of blood drip into the bowl. Then she utters a curse. Karaindash says so all can hear. The twice-dammed water is made. Let us harmonize. Mupallidat takes a deep breath and starts a tone that comes deep from her essence. Then all the daughters match the tone. The water in the bowl begins to swirl, slowly a pillar of water rises. All the daughters end the tone, leaving Mupallidat keeping the tone strong, stopping the pillar from collapsing. This is the first test. Keeping of the harmony to use the strength of the daughters and to keep the pillar strong by her will. After 5 minutes, she slowly drops her tone and the pillar melts back into the water. Karaindash goes to the bowl and lifts it, taking a sip. It is passed to Mupallidat, then Sala, each takes a sip, then it is passed to all the daughters. An empty bowl is placed back on the dais. Then the temple daughters take it away. Sala stands next to Mupallidat. Karaindash places the scimitar on Mupallidat's throat. Remove the robe of the priestess and stand naked. You have risen above the drab robes of a priestess, you have begun your journey, your path to the red robe. We will bury, give you flight, burn and drown your essence, to be one with the wishes of Druj and Gramenu. In the end, you will not need to use the dark relic, the goblet of Druj, as only a high priestess can use for its dark knowledge. A celestial daughter has the power to see the future and the past, to see remote areas, and to force the dead to speak true. Is your will ready to leave your humanity? Are your feet willing to take your path to be the handmaiden of Druj and Gramenu? Yes, I wish to walk the path to be our goddess Druj and Gramenu's handmaiden. The priestess Karaindash leads all to the field of the honored dead. A hole has been dug. Mupallidat is directed to slow her heart, slow her breath, lay face down in the hole. In this pit, you shall listen to the voices of the dead. Listen to their wisdom, let them tell you their truth. Become one with the dead as you are one of the living. After 7 days and 7 nights, we shall take you from the breast of the dead for you to rise among the living again, one step closer to our goddess Druj and Gramenu. Mupallidat takes a deep breath, she then lays down. The sand is shoveled back into the pit. Sala kneels next to the pit waiting on her celestial daughter to rise again, monitoring her essence as a handmaiden should. On the 8th morning, the sand was dug out. The only one who knew she still lived was Sala. Mupallidat was thickly coated with sand, she needed help to sit and stand. Sala gave her a small glass of oxen blood, then a small glass of thick beer. She drinks deep. Mupallidat pukes out what she has drunk. Her body has been without nourishment for too long, it refuses to accept more than a sip at a time. Karaindash looks deep in the eyes of Mupallidat. Did the dead give you the truth of the grave? Mupallidat nods her head, unable to speak. You have rest for 2 days before the next trial, stay true to the fast. Karaindash turns and walks back to the temple. Sala and 2 other priestesses help Mupallidat to her sleeping chamber. 2 days later, Sala walks behind a naked Mupallidat into the temple room. Karaindash stands in front of the altar. Mupallidat, the test of fire and air awaits you. You will fly without moving, you will gaze to see what is hidden. The fire is at an ember now when you fly, at every hour more wood shall be added. At 10 hours you will die burning, or you will lower the flame by your mental magic, to save yourself. Karaindash raises her hand from a pulley, in the ceiling, 12 ropes, with hooks attached, are lowered. Karaindash gives Mupallidat a large mug of steeped herbs. Drink to free your mind from your physical form. The temple daughters smear a thick unguent on Mupallidat. This is to dull the pain of the flame as you fly. Your task is to visit the 3 other temples, on their altars is a relic. Tell us what temple, what the object it is, and who placed it. All must be done in under 10 hours, or you will die by fire unless you control the flame. Are you ready to fly, Mupallidat? Yes, Karaindash, I wish to fly like a hawk, I am ready, priestess of the trials. Mupallidat anchors herself to Sala to speak through her. Mupallidat is placed face down on a table. Hooks bite into her skin. Then she is raised 10 feet over the fire pit. Her head is lower than her feet. Karaindash looks to Sala, give your high priestess a slow sunwise spin, and keep the flow for her journey. The drugs took effect quicker than Mupallidat expected. The spinning is not allowing her to relax and think, she can feel the heat as nothing more than being warm. At 20 minutes, the drugs are in full effect, the fire is noticeable. At hour 1, she realizes she cannot free her spirit while she is spinning. She slips into Salas's mind. Reaches out and stops her spinning. Priestess of the trial, am I allowed to stop my spin so I can free my mind? Yes, Mupallidat, it is a part of the trial to see if you can think clearly to fly. Well done, daughter. You will notice the flame will be stronger now, it will be a distraction that will grow in strength the longer you fly unless you can control the flame. Now she can still her mind, the endorphins of the hooks, the drugs, and the blood that settled in her skull, the heat is more intense. At last, she has found the still point. Hour 2. Her form is a hawk, flying high, then a steep fast dive to the ground. At the last moment she flies upward to the sky spinning. She is brought back to her trial as she feels her head and chest start to burn. She flies to the temple of Belteshazzar, the temple of the keeper of secrets. She flies into a window in the tower, then glides to rest on the altar. Sitting on the altar is a sacrificial dagger with an azure hilt. Putting her ghost wing on the dagger, she feels for the one to last held it. Mupallidat connects to Sala, speaking through her. Priestess of the trials in the temple of Belteshazzar, a sacrificial dagger with an azure hilt. A young temple daughter placed it there. Karaindash looks to the high priestess of the temple, she nods her head. Fly, Mupallidat, make speed, the flames are rising. Hour 7, Mupallidat flies as fast as she can to the temple of Munawardam, the temple of the first high priestess. She can feel that her whole body is burning. Mupallidat knew she must have boils on her flesh by now. She cannot figure out how to stop the flames. Mother, aid me, tell me what must I do? Silence is her only answer. Once at the temple, she sees there are no windows, so she goes through the wall. Mupallidat lands on the altar, an offering bowl sits on it. She puts her ghost wing on the bowl, to find out who touched it last. There are hundreds of people infused within the bowl. Priestess of the trials, I am at the temple of Munawardam, an offering bowl sits upon the altar. There are too many people, I cannot divine the last to touch it. So, you are admitting defeat? You are relinquishing your right to the red robe, Mupallidat? No, I need time. Time is a valuable commodity that you are running out of, young priestess. New logs have been added and your flesh boils. Mupallidat tries to divine the last to touch the bowl, she is overwhelmed. Daughter, listen. A farmer strains the wheat from the chaff. How does he know what is chaff and what is wheat? Several minutes go by, then it occurs to Mupallidat. Look for the female in an ocean of men. Priestess of the trials, the High Priestess Karaindash placed the offering bowl here. Mupallidat smells burnt hair and burning pork. Fly with speed, it is a long journey to the temple of Enheduanna, the temple of the Blade Mother. Hour 8 3/4. Mupallidat can't help but dwell on the state of her body. The unguent is stopping her from being in pain as she burns. All she can feel is a stinging burning sensation. It is the smell that draws her attention from the task at hand. Mother, how do I stop the fire? Silence. Why help me with a simple thing, Mother, but the important trial you stay silent? Being over the flames this long, she realizes she will be bedridden for life unless she dies from the burns. There have been possible celestial daughters who have died during their trials. She never even considered that she would die. Mother saw me ascend. Am I to rule from the bed? I will rule standing or bedridden, but I will rule. Mupallidat has finally reached the temple of Enheduanna. The temple was dark with 2 candles on the altar. She lands unable to see anything on the altar. Priestess of the trials, the altar is bare. It is your expectations that blind you, young priestess. I myself have placed the relic there. If what you expect to see is not there, what is left? Think quickly, the fire is high and you have less than an hour to come back to your body. Mupallidat goes through the relics in her mind and cannot place one that could be hidden from sight. She looks around the base of the altar to see if it fell. Nothing was on the floor. After 15 minutes of searching the temple, she goes back to the altar. At this new angle, she sees a single grain of wheat. The grain is not the relic, but the statement that a convincing lie always has a grain of truth in it is the basic understanding all priestesses are taught. Priestess of the trials, it is a grain of wheat. Very good, young priestess, now you must come back, you have less than a half an hour till your time runs out. She is an hour away by flight. Even in her astral form, she is hindered by natural laws. Why can't I door? Do I need a physical form to door, or is it usable in astral form? Mupallidat raises her wing and walks through the door. Mupallidat is hanging inches away from the bed of embers. Priestess of the trials, I am back, remove me from the flame. Karaindash points to the temple daughters who raise Mupallidat so she can be swung to the table to have her hooks removed. As each hook is removed, Sala puts an unguent on where the hooks bit her flesh and sends healing energy to the wounds. Hesitantly, Mupallidat takes the blindfold off, looking at her arms and legs. They are unburnt, her long hair is untouched. Karaindash puts her hand on Mupallidat's shoulder. No, young priestess, you were never in peril of the flame. The unguent gained heated you the closer to the embers you were lowered. The smell of hair and pork was a mental stimulus to invoke stress and panic. You have passed the test, you kept yourself calm even believing you were being burned alive. Now you have 2 days to rest and gather yourself for the trial of water. Keep true to your fast. Back in Mupallidat's room, as soon as the door closes, she slaps Sala hard. Why did you not tell me, you idiot? Did you want me to fail? Mupallidat, I do not know what you are speaking of. She punches Sala in the stomach. The fire, you petty idiot. Why did you not tell me the fire was false, that I was never in danger? Karaindash, the priestess of the trials, she chooses the trials and the rules. She is always scanning me, I cannot send to you, I can only monitor. Mupallidat punched Sala again. Sleep on the floor, handmaiden. Mupallidat and Sala enter the temple. There is a small couch with 12 daughters surrounding it. Priestess of the trial, I submit myself for the test of water. Young priestess, you will drink the blood of Druj, a potion so potent all who sip from the cup are dead in minutes. A city guard is brought to Karaindash. She uses her mental magic so that he grabs the cup and takes a sip from it. By the time the cup is handed back, his skin is a bright red, then he is on the ground having extremely violent convulsions. His screams abruptly end at the same time as his convulsions. That is your future, young priestess. If you fail to expel the poison, it will boil your blood. Daughter, this is not a test of speed. This is one of endurance. Be prepared, you will be on the verge of death several times before you can purify your blood. Thank you, Mother, for your wise counsel. Young priestess, lay down upon the couch and prepare your mind and body. Mupallidat lays down, she slows her mind and body. Once Karaindash sees the young priestess in deep meditation, she motions for the daughters to hold Mupallidat down. Then she tells Sala to give her mistress the blood of Druj. Mupallidat feels the cold metal of the cup part her lips, then the acidic metallic tasting fluid filled her mouth. She had to force herself to swallow the vile brew. It burned its way to her stomach as if she swallowed a lump of burning coal. Her body started its convulsions. The daughters will hold her down till the trial ends in her death or a celestial daughter rises. Sala watches Mupallidat, closely knowing she will rise as a celestial daughter. Barely noticing, she longs that Mupallidat will not rise from the couch. Mupallidat visualizes herself as a ball of light, with a red blob absorbing the light and growing as it moved inside of her. She creates a small crate to contain it. She has the sensation of a dagger is being twisted in her heart. The crate dissolved at its touch. She made a glass bottle. She feels a vice is crushing her heart. The bottle melted at its touch. She created a wave to flush it out of her body. Once the blob was on the edge of her sphere of light, it will not go past, no matter how strong the wave was. She feels that her heart is being ripped to shreds. If it will not leave, let it take over. Once she stopped trying to contain it, the blob grew fast, taking over the ball of light. When the red blob has taken over the ball of light, it is a dark pink color. Now Mupallidat creates a ball of pure white light in the middle of the sphere of dark pink and pushes out that should not be there. For 30 minutes, Mupallidat has been held down, thrashing and screaming during her ordeal. Finally, she stopped moving, and her screams cease. They only know that she is alive is by her shallow breathing. Sala yells at the daughters to release their grip on Mupallidat. A red sweat comes out of Mupallidat's skin. One daughter was slow in releasing her grip, making contact with the red sweat. She falls over screaming and dies in agony. Priestess of the trials, the High Priestess Mupallidat is dead. The Celestial Daughter Mupallidat rises. We mourn the loss of the High Priestess Mupallidat. We welcome our new Celestial Daughter Mupallidat. You have 2 duties to fulfill now. The first is to go to the self-appointed syphilitic king of the gods' temple, destroying a relic of power and announcing that you have risen. Finally, you are to commune with our goddess Druj, allowing her to speak through you to her daughters gathered here. We shall meet here at noon tomorrow for your final 2 tasks to be completed. Stay true to your fast. In Mupallidat's chamber, she tells Sala to get her beer and cheese. Celestial Daughter Mupallidat, you broke fast this morning, you must keep to the fast. Sala sees that Mupallidat wants to hit her again. After the trials, if I tell you to do anything, handmaiden, you will do it, or I will kill you by giving you to Ahura Mazda's worshippers myself. A naked Mupallidat walks proudly into the temple. Sala is 5 paces behind her. Before the altar is a bathtub. On either side of the tub were wooden platforms, perfectly balanced but not visibly held in place. Karaindash addresses Sala. Prepare your mistress's bath, prepare the dye. Sala mentally dominates 2 priests, so they go to a wooden platform that they are then tied down, then 2 more for the other wooden platforms. The tub is halfway filled with water with herbs floating on the surface. Sala stands between the 2 priests, raising her hands over her head. She pulls forth her mother blade. 2 temple daughters tip the wooden platform so the priests' heads are over the bathtub. Without a word or sound, Sala cuts their heads off so their blood begins to drain into the tub with their heads bobbing, eyes wide, mouths moving not of their own control, just the last vestiges of life leaving them. Sala walks to the other side and repeat her actions. With the first 2 drained, they are untied from the wooden platforms. 2 temple daughters drag the bodies into the communal stool room, and then the bodies are thrown in. Sala dominates 2 more to the wooden platforms. This goes on till the last 2, the priests of Ahura Mazda. Sala lifts the mental fog they were under. Welcome to the mother temple of the goddess Druj. You have had a long journey, a hard path to your purpose in life. The reason you were born is here. The hour of your most glorious purpose has rung. You are to open the gates for the Celestial Daughter Mupallidat, to announce her birth. You are to dye the cloth of her robe of righteousness. You shall allow her spirit entrance to the land of the damned, so she may have converse with our goddess Druj and Grameneu. Then their heads are bobbing with the other priests, lifeless eyes staring at nothing as their lifeless bodies are dragged away. Celestial Daughter Mupallidat, your bath is ready. Mupallidat walks to the tub and lowers herself in, submerging her head under the blood and water. She says a simple prayer to Druj, then she stands walking to the altar. Standing behind it she sends to Sala then sends to several high priestesses, they send to the rest of the assembled daughters and high priestesses. They all watch through the eyes of the Celestial Daughter. Mupallidat remotely views the temple of the false king, the false god worshippers. They are in the middle of a rite. 3 high priests stand behind the altar. The one in the middle holds a crystal skull high over his head. It begins to glow. The high priest is channeling his god Ahura Mazda to the pigsty. Mupallidat calls forth a temple daughter to retrieve her tool. She runs back, giving it to her. Mupallidat raises her hand and walks through the door. All the daughters are filled with joy, knowing pig's blood will be spilled, anticipating the terror that will ensue. The priests feel a shift behind them. The head priest puts the crystal skull on the altar. They turn around to see a wild-eyed, bloody, naked woman walking through the door. With her mental magic, she screams to all assembled. A new celestial daughter has risen. She reaches above her head and pulls out her mother blade. Before they can move, the 2 attendant priests' heads leave their bodies. She points the scimitar to the back of the temple. The doors shut and are locked tight. Men are screaming to get out, pulling at the doors to escape. Prayers are yelled to save them from the handmaiden of the whore demon Druj. The high priest starts to cast a spell using hand chants. Mupallidat uses the flat of her scimitar, knocking him out. Her prize is glowing on the altar. Its crystal eyes are as bright as the sun. Her hand grips the handle of the tool the temple daughter brought her. Staring into the eyes of the skull, a battle of will begins. Yes, Ahura Mazda, the worshippers of the whore are awake once again, and we are sharpening our blades. The war is once again at your feet. You and your false children, the Amsha Spenta, will suffer once more, all because you are a fat, lazy tyrant, a stupid one at that. The Celestial Daughter Mupallidat walks the land. All that you hold true shall be destroyed and ground into the sand. She stretches out her hand, and the tapestries bursts aflame. Mupallidat raises the hammer that she is carrying, bringing it down hard on the crystal skull, shattering it. Picking the high priest up, throwing him on the altar. Using her mother blade, she cuts out the pig's tongue, also all his fingers save the thumbs. She wades into the frightened crowd, sweeping with the sword to all in her path, arms, hands, legs, and heads littering the floor where she passed. Laughing and singing praises to her goddess Druj. Yelling out to the maimed and living, fear the daughters of Druj, we know no fear from you pigs. Mupallidat raises her hand and walks back into her temple. When Mupallidat walks back into the temple, she hears Sala leading the assembled daughters chanting, pigs, pigs, pigs. This is what she has craved. The Celestial Daughter Mupallidat can do no wrong, her will shall be their will, her desires are their desire. Now to arm and aim the daughters of Druj again. For high priestesses go to the tub and pull out the bloody cloth, each holding a corner and raising it above their heads. Karaindash creates a light breeze to dry the cloth. Sala goes to Mupallidat and places the hoop of unity on the back and over the head of Mupallidat, symbolizing that the Celestial Daughter and Druj and Grameneu are one and the same. The daughters bring the cloth over to Mupallidat and drape it over her. She is not the High Priestess Mupallidat, she is not the Priestess Mupallidat, she is not even Mupallidat anymore. Her human form is almost never to be seen again without the robe on. The cloth drapes over the hoop, her face has no discernible definition other than it is a face. Sitting cross-legged floating over the altar, the Celestial Daughter Mupallidat gazes at her daughters, her army, her plan, her war. Now the last trial, is she truly a Celestial Daughter? Will Druj accept her? Mother, what do I do? How do I achieve converse? How do I achieve unity? See a stream, just as in your mental magics, only this stream goes deep to the land of the damned. Use your astral self, do not bring your essence with you, or you will be trapped in the land of the damned. I shall stay here in your body, I do not wish Druj to know I am part of you. Since I am just a shard of my full essence, I would be joined with myself, never to see or aid you again. I am so proud of you, my daughter. Now go and be one with our goddess. Mupallidat, hovering over the altar, her head tilts back, she utters, "Take me, Druj, take me home." Her astral self and essence were being pulled together down a black tunnel. Experiencing vertigo that she never felt before. She had to split her astral and her essence before she went further down the tunnel. It was like two lodestones refusing to separate. She wanted to scream, her rule cannot end before it even started. Her astral self draws her mother blade, cleaving herself in two. Her essence goes back to her body. As she descends deeper into the tunnel, her vertigo multiplies. She does not know if she is up or down, she does not even know who she is, except her core was spinning one way and the rest of her body is jerkingly spinning the other way faster. Then she is dry heaving on rocky ground. A voice as soft as petals, but it had steel, stronger than any scimitar. It is always hard on the psyche the first several times coming to the land of the damned. Mupallidat. Mupallidat looks up, sitting on a rock she is forced to use as a throne, she sees her goddess in her true form. The descriptions of the beauty of Druj fall short of her in person. She is nude, over 20 feet tall, dark blue skin, 3 of her 6 arms hold her icons and weapons of power. A golden chain tiara with 7 lapis lazuli gems dangling on her forehead, resting upon her long oily black hair. Her eyes were like rubies with a bright fire behind them. As she stands, Druj begins to shrink, transforming into a beautiful, nude, Arabian woman with long silken black hair, well over 6.5 feet tall. Mupallidat kneels and kisses Druj's feet, saying, "Blessed be thy path and thy journey to the death of the festering cocksore Ahura Mazda and his pox-ridden maggot children the Ain Shah Spenta." Kissing one of her hands, "Blessed be thy hands that which carved the mother blades from your very essence." Kissing her womb, "Blessed be thy womb, my goddess, our superiority over man, for only a woman can give forth life and take life away." Kissing her breasts, "Blessed be thy breasts, that which nurtures your daughters with the long life of youth." Kissing her lips, "Blessed be thy lips, that shall utter the sacred and profane, truth and lie weaved so they are one." Kissing her forehead, "Blessed be thy wisdom, giving us the magics to learn and understand them, without which we would be the slaves of men and Ahura Mazda." Mupallidat prostrates herself in front of Druj. Druj, the demon of deceit, the breaker of holy men's spirits, she who destroys the mind of men. The goddess of pleasure, she calls forth chaos, destroying the law of the false king of the gods, Ahura Mazda. Come walk and let us talk, Mupallidat. We have much to discuss, daughter. They walk through the land of the damned. Druj would point out why that pig was being tortured or why that pig is being singled out in such a way. She would point out daughters being tortured that incurred her wrath for various reasons. Then she points to a certain daughter, she is a rare one, Mupallidat, only a handful of daughters have been given this torture. They forgot why we wage my war, their station in the sisterhood, their hubris to think they were my equal. The woman being tortured is screaming as burning oil is being poured on her. Her skin is being flayed by the wicked whips the 4 daughters are using on her. Mupallidat, she incurred my wrath because she thought she was above my law. She is a heretic. She broke the rule all daughters must follow. The main law that all others are based on. She refused to trust her fellow sisters in their wisdom. Her arrogance, she believed she was above my rules. See how she is a ghost not fully here? She left a tiny sliver of her essence in the world because she could not bear leaving, as if I would not notice when she died. Now, Mupallidat, is that just punishment? Am I showing her kindness and not having some other horrific torture done to her? Without thinking, Mupallidat says, "My goddess Druj, gouge out her eyes and place them so they look upon herself as you torture her. Disembowel her and feed her intestines to her, my goddess. You have a wonderful purity in torture, my dear Mupallidat. You must have learned it and so many other things from your mother. Spiritually, of course, Mupallidat, since your mother died at your birth." Druj points to a daughter whipping the woman. Viciously she pulls the daughter's hair back, forcing her to show the burned, ripped, and bloody face. Mupallidat takes several steps back. She gave a complete understanding of the magics to her just-born daughter. That law, Mupallidat. That alone is worth eternal torture. Yes, your mother, the Celestial Daughter Seru, thought she was above me. She thought she was wiser and more cunning than her goddess. I want my due, Mupallidat. I want what is owed to me. If you expect to leave my realm, you will agree to bring me your mother's shard of her essence. Druj leaves, Mupallidat standing, staring at her mother being tortured. Now leave me and drag that heretic back to me. My goddess, your daughters are expecting you to have converse with them. What will I tell them? You can start with the truth that you and your mother cheated on your training. You can tell them that you both chose the heretical ways of the ass-licking pustule Ahura Mazda over mine. You can tell them the truth, you are not a celestial daughter. You stole that exalted position to be my handmaiden from Sala. Or you can lie, I do not care. I demand your mother so she can be properly tortured eternally. After she is here, we will talk of you remaining my handmaiden or joining your mother's pain. With a flick of her finger, Mupallidat's astral form is thrown back to the temple. Sala notices something is wrong. Mupallidat is back. The daughters are still in meditation waiting for Druj to talk. She sends to Mupallidat, is there trouble? Sala might as well be yelling at a wall for the same effect. Karaindash still observes Sala for any trickery she may do to aid her mistress. Seeing that Sala is in distress, Karaindash tries to scan Mupallidat, but she meets a wall. The priestess of the trial stands and walks next to Mupallidat, sitting at her feet, studying her. Not only is Karaindash the priestess of the trials. If one or both lie and say unity is gained, it is her duty to kill them. For she is the high priestess of the assassins. Daughter? Why were you rejected by our goddess? Mupallidat says nothing. Daughter, why did she reject you? You mother. She knows you are still here. She knew you passed the understanding of the magics to me. She knows you trained me. She demands you to be joined with your essence again, to be tortured for eternity for being a heretic, your arrogance, and for defying her laws, mother. If I do not bring you back, I will suffer. Even if I bring you back, I may still suffer. There is silence for 30 minutes between mother and daughter. I must go and pay for my crimes, daughter. I thought Druj would not notice, but she did. I will always do whatever is needed to protect you, my daughter, you who fill me with such pride. It will not be torture knowing that you are the pride and joy of my life. You will continue your path. I may have my bones broken, my blood boiled, it is worth every pain, Mupallidat. When you have your own daughter, you will understand my love. I shall cherish every stolen day I had with you, my child. My pride, you were my path, you were my journey, I existed only to bring you into the world. Let me gift you my last thoughts. My last act of heresy. We worship a cruel and malevolent goddess. In our war, do we kill all the worshippers of Ahura Mazda? Most we kill, but we maim and mutilate those we do not kill. All for the greater glory of our goddess Druj and Gramenyu. She calls Ahura Mazda petty and cruel. Remember, they entered our world at the same time. She is his equal, at least that is why we fight his worshippers. If they are equals, then she also is cruel and petty because he is. The only difference is that Ahura Mazda prefers men and Druj and Gramenyu prefers women. Be wiser than I was, daughter. I thought I was Druj and Gramenyu's equal and did as I pleased. I will be forever just a distraction of pain and agony to our goddess. I will satiate her desire of suffering and pain for mere moments as I writhe in eternal agony. There may come a day that you think as I do. If so, on the dawn of the rite of Ishtar, go to our room, close the shutters. The light coming through the broken slat will crawl across the floor and rest upon a single stone. What is there, mother? Knowledge, my love, my pride, knowledge. If I did not die, Mupallidat, I would have stopped being a pawn of the gods. We would have been elevated to be true equals with the gods. Now let us leave so you may claim your rightful place as a celestial daughter. I shall plead your case to continue wearing the red robe. Stay strong, my daughter. Druj may not wish to listen to me and sent me to be tortured in front of you right away as an example of the price we pay our goddess for breaking her laws. Going back, the sensation of her vertigo is even worse. Mupallidat finds herself on the rocky floor, dry heaving again. Her mother is not with her. Handmaiden, you did as you were told. That means there might be hope for you. Druj looks down at Mupallidat from her rock. I do not know if I want you as my handmaiden. You stink of your mother's training and her arrogance, thinking you are entitled. Why do you think you were entitled to be my handmaiden? Sala would have made a fine and rightfully proud celestial daughter. She worked to understand the magics. It was hard for her, but she studied and practiced as every daughter. But you, Mupallidat, your arrogance started when you were young as a temple daughter and has only grown with time. You looked at my assembled daughters today and thought, the celestial daughter Mupallidat can do no wrong, your will shall be their will, and your desires are their desire. Now to arm and aim the daughters of Druj again, your army, your plan, your war. Did you rebel against Ahura Mazda? Have you been banished to the land of the damned, unable to leave? Never seeing light again? Did you create the daughters in secret? Did you craft the mother blades from your very essence? No, you have never paid any price. I doubt you even have a scar from a scimitar. I have had other daughters usurp the line of the celestial daughter. I understood and welcomed them as my celestial daughters. In fact, one is flaying your mother's face as we speak. Were you arrogant enough to think you were the only one to do that? They had their reasons, you just had your self-entitlement and arrogance. You and your mother thought you could lie to me. I am the goddess of lies, Mupallidat, you are as a child learning to speak compared to me. I am willing to let you remain my handmaiden. You do have the potential, but are you able to worship me and never lie to me? Realize if you fail, I already have your torture planned and it would make your mother's pleasant compared to yours. Are you willing to be the handmaiden you claim to be? Yes, my goddess Druj. Druj leans forward from her rock throne, her head hovering over Mupallidat's. She screams at her, my title is the goddess Druj, handmaiden, you have decades before I will allow you with anything less. You and your mother broke my laws, she was a heretic and you followed her. Growing up, you could at any moment deny the heretical act your mother performed and had a true teacher of the magics. Therefore, I shall treat you this way until you prove to me that you are worthy. You have arrogance in you like your mother, until you learn you are no better than any of the other daughters. You will have trials till I am satisfied your arrogance is gone. You are not a celestial daughter. When you prove to me you are worthy of being a celestial daughter, you will be granted the title and powers. Until then you are only a handmaiden with limited rights and powers. Now, deep in your essence, do you still wish to be my handmaiden? Or, shall I call Sala? Please, goddess Druj, I beg to be your handmaiden, my goddess Druj. Now open your hand and tell me what you see, handmaiden. It looks like a deep spoon that has jagged ends, my goddess Druj. Yes, this is your first trial. When you told me I was giving a mercy to your mother, I agree, I was. You are to go to your mother and perform your first trial, handmaiden. You will torture her as you said I should. You will gouge out your mother's beautiful eyes and place them on the dais that is there now. She can see her torture unblinking. You will place a lump of burning coal in each socket. You will pour the boiling oil down her heretical, arrogant mouth. Then you will disembowel her and feed her intestines inch by inch down her throat. Since you never paid a price or worked for all that you have, this is your price to be my handmaiden. Will you pay the price for your goddess handmaiden? Yes, my goddess Druj, I shall give you your due. Mupallidat walks to her mother, she is not a ghost anymore. Large and small patches of her flesh were hanging off her body. Mupallidat was about to say something to her mother when one of the daughters slaps her. Silence, no word or sending. She is alone, never a kindness to be given to the heretic. A daughter pulls her mother's head back. Mupallidat looks at her mother with tears in both their eyes. Mupallidat raised her hand and dug out her mother's eyes. A daughter lets them fall to the ground, then she grabs them as if they were just rocks, placing them on the small dais, pointing them so they will see everything. Mupallidat finished, she kneels at Druj's feet. I have paid the price, my goddess Druj Ngramenu. No handmaiden, that is just the start of the tally. You will be the only one to torture your mother in such a way. For eternity, she is to know pain and suffering. One special day every year, on the anniversary of her heretical action, she is honored. Every year on the day of your birth, you will come here for this one reason, to teach her. The law is the law, that is one of your trials, till I believe you are not your mother's daughter. Now, handmaiden, go to my temple. I wish to see and honor my daughters. Sala and Karaindash feel the difference in the temple when Mupallidat came back channeling their goddess. Sala is relieved that the celestial daughter has returned. Karaindash has seen one ascension and has seen several before of the others prior to this one's mother. This one was in the land of the damned longer than she has ever seen or heard of. Sala stands up. Daughters, our mother is with us. Stand proud and come forward for the blessing from our goddess Druj Ngramenu, the demon of deceit, the breaker of holy men's spirits, she who destroys the mind of men. The goddess of pleasure, she calls forth chaos, destroying the law of the false king of the gods. Come, daughters, your mother waits for your embrace. Druj calls Sala and Karaindash to come together. My daughters, you have given your truth and love to me. Every day you have worshipped me. Your love is pure, and your hatred of pigs is well known among them. You honor me because you are my daughters. Let me honor you now. Druj places a hand on Sala and Karaindash's foreheads and places a small seed in their mind to grow and shed its wisdom in time. Each daughter came to see her goddess. Druj called them by their names as they stood in front of her. Some told her a joke and Druj would laugh heartily. Some sang or spoke a poem dedicated to her. Others brought treasures, all made from pigs, bone pens for cuneiform work, bone straws for drinking beer, handles for whips woven from the hair of priestly pigs. Each one she would inspect and praise the crafter for their ingenuity and skill. Druj would bless and kiss each daughter. Sometimes Druj would tell a daughter a tale of her mother or an accomplishment the daughter did that honored her. Lastly, Druj called forth the temple daughters. My children, you work so hard keeping the temples clean. Tell your priestess to get you some sweet mursu from the next caravan, not the small ones, the ones the size of your fist. Druj called them by their names, and hugged each one, kissing their foreheads. Now, daughters, go and start the feast. Your goddess has a new handmaiden. Drink and eat for the joy of this day. Before Druj returns Mupallidat's body to her. Handmaiden, I expect you to know each of the daughters' names, including the temple daughters. Even your heretic mother knew them all. They are not beneath you, they are your sister's handmaiden. You do not only serve me, but you also serve them as well, for we are a family. In a family, we are all equals. I can still call Sala to take her proper role if you think this is too hard to rise over your arrogance and entitlement. No, my goddess Druj Ngramenu, I will be able to rise over my shortcomings. I did not say you had shortcomings. What did I say you had, daughter of a heretic? My arrogance and entitlement, my goddess Druj Ngramenu, I shall rise above my arrogance and entitlement. Thank you for your sufferance. As Druj leaves, we will see handmaiden, we shall see. Mupallidat sits at the head of the feast. Sala is on her right side, Karaindash is on her left. Mupallidat stands, she blesses a barrel of wine and one of beer. Then she blesses the food. Sitting back down, she pours herself a glass of wine. She started to raise the red robe to drink some much-needed refreshment after this day. Sala puts her hand on Mupallidat's hand. Celestial daughter, you need to wait till you are in your chambers. No one may see you without the red robe on, they cannot see you drink or eat. No one save me and Karaindash will ever see you again. This is the way, celestial daughter. Mupallidat screams at Sala, I am the celestial daughter Mupallidat, you haven't earned the right to be so informal with me, handmaiden. Mupallidat sends to Sala, handmaiden or not, I will kill you if you touch me again. The celestial daughter starts to get up. Karaindash leans in. You must stay for the full feast, it is in your honor. We will have food and drink waiting in your chambers, there you can be Mupallidat again, Celestial Daughter Mupallidat. With an angry tone, the pork must be hot and the wine cool, handmaiden. Karaindash sends to Sala, does she not know what her duties are? Did she think that she has no duties other than us bowing and kissing her feet? She did not even know what the sorrow and the burden of the red robe. Sala tells the Celestial Daughter Mupallidat, we need to do our duty, we need to get the bedchamber and the food ready. In the kitchen, Sala sends to Karaindash, never send statements like that around her. Her mental magic was considerable before she wore the red robe. If she caught you sending statements like that, she would have you made into her personal goblet of Druj. The only reason you were saved is the wall of anger she is in. Sala, did you notice that Druj never called her by title or name, always handmaiden? Unlike Ahura Mazda, the god of leaking green cock pus, Druj takes pride in knowing all of our names and using them to prove to her worshippers she returns their love and honors them. In front of all, Mupallidat yelled at you to use her full title, calling you handmaiden like a snake with poison dripping from her fangs. I remember seeing her as a girl I know that is Mupallidat. But her actions since she received the mother blade, she is almost a different woman. And not one I would say that she fits the position she has. Karaindash, I do not think Druj gave her the welcome of equals that she expected. Mupallidat came back to her body for 45 minutes, then she went back to the land of the damned. I noticed your distress during the rite of converse, now I have the understanding of the why. Karaindash, when around Mupallidat, use the mountain of will. It will lessen your sending strength, but you will be able to block someone from reading you. I do not know why, for there is no reason other than just a gut feeling. Do not trust her. I have never felt this way until my blessing from Druj. We must keep a watchful eye on Mupallidat. I agree the way Druj treated her, I do not think she trusts Mupallidat either. Why did Druj accept her without perfect trust? Sala, Druj is a chaos demon, maybe she wishes to see how long Mupallidat can last before she breaks. Sala calls a temple daughter. I give you the right to clean the tables with your other sisters. When it looks like the feast is winding down, put a pork haunch in the bread oven, give it 15 minutes, then bring it and a jug of wine to the Celestial Daughter's room. Let us go back to the feast and enjoy the ending of this long day. Mupallidat woke early as normal. Karaindash and Sala are still asleep at the foot of the bed. Mupallidat looks at them with anger, she gives both a rude gesture. I am the Celestial Daughter, not a 5-year-old needing to be watched over. She kicks Sala. Handmaiden, I need to make water, bathe, and then eat. Yes, Celestial Daughter Mupallidat, I shall retrieve the chamber pot. She brings Mupallidat to a large closet. Handmaiden, I go to a closet to make water and bathe. Yes, Celestial Daughter Mupallidat. You are not human anymore. You are one with the goddess. Some would find it hard that their physical embodiment of the goddess is on the stool next to them. Your days are now one of service, you wake, make water, eat, read requests for help in attacking slave caravans, planning their attacks, certain men needing to be killed, how and who is to kill the pigs, sometimes dignitaries will wish to speak to you. You will never be alone. That is why Karaindash is with us. She is old, but the ways of an assassin run deep in her essence. I do as you direct me, I bring the word of the Celestial Daughter Mupallidat to her daughters. Every evening you lead the rites, slaughter the pig on the altar, the blood will be given to a high priestess so her daughters may write their own book of the damned. You may or may not have conversed with Druj, tell us what is expected from Druj or you. I am chained to the temple? Never to leave, and my day is the same till I die? Is that what you are telling me, handmaiden? It is not written in stone, Celestial Daughter Mupallidat. You are allowed to leave the temple, but only by a door. Karaindash must be with you. Yes, as a celestial daughter, mystically you have no peers. Your scimitar work is flawless. All celestial daughters have a shade. Your mother had a shade, after a year together, they were very good friends. Karaindash knows where an assassin would lay in wait for weeks, never moving for an opportunity to kill you. She can sniff out her kind before you come through the door. Also, she is a very good bones and knuckles player. Do not play her for coppers. Even with you being the celestial daughter, it will not stop her from making you a pauper. They would play tap. Your mother would have some mercy made and tell the temple daughters to hide in the temple. Then your mother and Labashi would door looking for the daughters. The ones they could not find in 15 minutes got a mersu. Yes, it is silly, but you have a very serious position and seriousness needs to have some game time. After a year of playing the game, your mother and Labashi knew where all the secret rooms and holes were. How do you even know that, Sora? You would have been at the most 10 when my mother died. I was one of those temple daughters. Also, Labashi was my mother. There was only one time Labashi did not go with your mother. That was your conception. It would have been too dangerous for two together in the palace. Labashi watched her mother in the scrying bowl to come to her aid if needed. She did not need to worry. Your mother mentally dominated 3 people at the same time. She was truly a powerful celestial daughter. You are now telling me I will never be alone? Excuse me, Celestial Daughter Mupallidat. Did you read the diaries of the past celestial daughters? Mupallidat was going to say a scathing reply, but then she realized she would expose her mother's heresy. No, I should have. I was busy practicing the magics, I ignored so many things and now it shows. Mupallidat had to admit she did not know everything. She relied on her mother too much to learn anything other than the magics. Naram-Sin was your high priestess. Didn't she die after you were raised to a high priestess, Celestial Daughter Mupallidat? Yes, she went to our goddess in her sleep, the poor woman. Now she is torturing the deserving with all Druj's daughters. She was a good and sly daughter, celestial daughter. Is it true she tracked her brothers and fed them to her mother and father? Sala felt a tap at her mountain of will. I do not remember Sala, she rarely talked of her life before joining. Very true, even after a jug of wine she was tight-lipped as to the grave. Sala felt the tap again. Why are you talking to me like we are friends? You're just my handmaiden, leave me and keep that old one away also. Sala bows, yes, Celestial Daughter Mupallidat. Please excuse me for being so forward. I shall come back to retrieve you for tonight's rites. Do you wish me to bring you something to break your fast? No, just leave me now. If I want food, I can do it myself, unless there is a rule, I cannot feed myself. No, Celestial Daughter Mupallidat, you may feed yourself, I apologize. Sala leaves the room. Karaindash was leaning against the wall. Sala was about to say something, Karaindash puts a finger to her lips. Inside Karaindash's room. Weapons adorn the walls. She motions for Sala to sit. Then she puts her forehead on Sala's forehead. Gaining unity, would you like a sip of Naram-Sin's favorite wine? Sala breaks out laughing. Better make it a full goblet, I have a strong need to drink some milk. Sala, what will we tell her if she is scrying on us? I was teaching you your responsibility, now that you are her shade. No one can overhear a shade's duty, that's why we are in unity. Good, just enough truth so it won't register as a lie. Why is the celestial daughter lying to you, Sala? Naram-Sin was blind for the last 5 years of her life, also senile. Karaindash, what high priestess would not have her daughter read the diaries? They are a basic primer for our abilities and spell casting. She has a strong connection to the magics, but many of our skills are found out in the reading, not standing in a hallway haphazardly casting spells, hand chants and mental magic. Who did she train with for the mental magics? A senile woman cannot teach the mental magics even on her most lucid days. So many things are wrong with Mupallidat, but Druj accepted her. As I was questioning Mupallidat, when she knew that she did not know the answer, she tried to read my thoughts. If she pressed harder, she would have become very noticeable. Sala, I say we take our directions from Druj. There must be one reason to accept her perfect trust. Do you wish to break your fast with me, then a quick game of knuckles, before I sit guard at our celestial daughter's door? I still owe you for the last 3 games. Are you sure you are not cheating and using your mental magics? Cheating on knuckles, never Sala, never. Next, you will accuse me of being a liar. But you are a liar, we all are. Okay, we will not play for coppers then. Karaindash, I do not owe you a copper. Sala, if anyone finds out I cleared your owings, they will never find your body. Sala, Druj accepted her for a reason other than waiting for her to break. Sala trust in Druj. She has a plan that spans the edges of time. Now let us break our fast. For the next year, an uneasy truce is held between the Celestial Daughter and her handmaiden. Sala would still ask questions, but would hide them in the discussion so they were not being straight-out accusations. The cats were banished. All the daughters were angry, the temple daughters were devastated. The cats would sleep with their chosen human, the cats were their eyes in and around the temple, now they are mostly gone. Several of the older, wiser cats hide when Mupallidat is close. They always watch her, deep in their wisdom of humans, they do not trust her. Karaindash is not allowed in the bedroom outside of discussions with the handmaiden, or with others outside of the weekly and monthly plans of visiting the other temples. After the meetings, Karaindash sits outside of the Celestial Daughter's door. Midnight till 8 a.m., that is when Eligula, the second to Karaindash in the assassin faction, sits outside of the Celestial Daughter's door. Year 3 of the Celestial Daughter Mupallidat. For the last 3 days, Mupallidat has been crueler to her protector and handmaiden. A snarl was more common than words. It is the day of the rite of Ishtar. An important rite for a sister underworld goddess trapped by men and gods. With her sad story of escape and the payment for her freedom. Karaindash came early since Mupallidat must walk outside the temple at the end of the rite. She wanted to make sure the child understood what that meant. Last year, she kept on wandering, not paying attention to the rite as though she was distracted, she would look to her window not paying attention to the rite. When Karaindash came to the door, Eligula was asleep. Karaindash slapped her with all her strength. She should be awake after a slap like that. She just sat there unmoving. Karaindash looked in her eyes and the irises were barely visible. She smelled her breath, there was no alcohol on it. She goes to the door, it will not open. Her keys will not work on the lock, it was spelled. She begins to pound on the door and yelled for Mupallidat to open it. All she hears is Mupallidat yelling to leave her alone. Karaindash sends to Sala. My second will not wake up, someone put her in a form of deep sleep. The child is yelling at me to leave her alone. I am going to door in and slap some sense in the child. Sala feels Druj's flower bloom in her mind. Will Casa still come to you? Yes, she is in my bedchamber. Why? Tell her to door in there, stay hidden, and see what that ungrateful child is doing. I have to know what she is doing by Druj's command. All cats have the natural ability to door. Pound on the heretic's daughter's door like you're going to knock it down, don't stop yelling, keep her distracted. I will be right there. Sala is pounding on the door with Karaindash. She sends to Karaindash, what does Casa see? The child is kneeling on the floor, there is a stone in her hand. A hole in the floor. She is putting a box and a scroll in the hole, now the stone is back. Druj, no, she sees Casa. The old cat can't run as fast as she used to, Mupallidat catches her and starts to strangle the old cat. Casa screams, trying to cut the evil woman with her claws. Karaindash screams, you filthy cunt. Before Sala can say a word, the High Priestess of the Assassins doors in. Mupallidat starts to say a spell at her protector to stop her. Karaindash rushes the Celestial Daughter, she reaches into a pocket and blows finely ground pepper in her face. Her Celestial Daughter is on the ground retching and sneezing madly. Karaindash shows her respect to the Celestial Daughter with a kick to her head. The cat squirms out of the evil human's hold and goes to her human. Karaindash picks her up and caresses her. Sala doors in, looking at the spectacle in front of her. Mupallidat screams at Sala in between sneezing and retching. To kill the old hag for attacking her. I am sorry, but Druj has commanded a death sentence for those who harm her children. She just saved you from eternal suffering. Sala goes to the stone on the floor that is not level with the others. Mupallidat yells at Sala. There is no law that states that. Maybe if the celestial daughter would have read the diaries, she would know more than being the stupidest celestial daughter that we have been weighted down with. I have had oxen learn more quickly than you. Now is this the treasure of treasures your mother told you about? Don't act surprised, you can only endure the tortures of Druj's daughters for so long before all she ever knew is known to Druj. Mupallidat Druj cured me of my fears, and I know what you did to me. Now that we have this, you will go to the loving embrace of your mother's torturers. You will be kept alive long enough so I may rise to be the celestial daughter the daughters of Druj truly deserve. Sala bends over, picks up the scroll, opening it. Interesting, I do not know the language. Very interesting diagrams. She bends over and picks up the box. Mupallidat launches herself at full speed and knocks Sala over. Karaindash drops the cat and jumps on Mupallidat, pulling her hair and punching her in the throat repeatedly. I do not care, you are a celestial daughter, you cannot cast spells with a crushed throat, you idiot moron. Mupallidat kicks her ex-protector off. Mupallidat reaches over her head, her hand goes into the land of the damned. She reaches and tries to feel for her mother blade. Finally, a hand grasps hers back. Karaindash and Sala start to laugh. Mupallidat hears the voice of her mother blade. No, that is not her mother blade. With words of fire, she hears the blade is a gift to my lovers, I have been waiting to do this, handmaiden. Mupallidat is trying to free herself from the incredible grip keeping her hand in the land of the damned. Then her hand is in searing pain. Her hand comes back with a dagger stuck firmly in her palm, 2 fingers are bitten off. Sala stands up. The poor temple daughter Bellalai fell out a window and has been addle-brained since then. She would have been better as a celestial daughter than you. If you do not love Druj, you lose the right to the mother blade, it was your mother's love that allowed you to gain your blade. But as you and I know, handmaiden, you were never a celestial daughter. Karaindash yells out, the filthy cunt is not even a celestial daughter. High Priestess of the Assassins, Druj's seed flowered and told me much, Karaindash. You have taken her casting ability, Druj took her hand chance away, after I am the celestial daughter I will send her to Druj's loving embrace, to join the 2 heretics together, literally. She did say at the beginning you would join your mother. Mupallidat tries to cast a spell, just painful crunched vocals come out. She looks at Sala and grins. Sala freezes in place. I still have the mental magics. Be Druj's celestial daughter in the land of the damned. She runs at Sala, pulling the dagger from her hand, sinking it deep into Sala's heart. Karaindash screams, she begins a hand chant. Mupallidat raises her hand, a door opens. She shows Karaindash a ripped scroll, also a necklace, from the box. Then she walks through the door. Karaindash goes to Sala's side. I am sorry, Karaindash, I am going to our goddess, call her tonight in your dreams. She will open the flower she planted in your mind. Find the deceiver, find the heretic, make her suffer in the plane of the living before you send her to Druj. I will, old friend, I will. Seeing Sala is close to her last breath. I do not care, sister, even though you are going to the land of the damned, you still owe me 30 coppers. Sala's last breath was a laugh. Later in the day, a temple daughter runs to Karaindash. High Priestess, I went to gather Elit Gula, as you commanded. I am sorry, she is dead by her hand. The temple daughter hands Karaindash a scroll. The temple daughter is seeing a sight that she did not know could happen. The High Priestess of the Assassins was crying, her daughter is dead. The scroll fell to the floor, on it was written, I am sorry, I failed you, mother and my goddess. I can only hope that my death will remove the stain of failing in my duties. The temple daughter, saying nothing, wraps her arms around the old High Priestess. Karaindash is in her room looking at the scrolls and the objects that are in the box. One object looks like a desiccated hand, but it has 7 fingers. A ring is almost big enough for a child's wrist, but it is a ring. A 10-inch dagger that has 3 edges spiraling to the point. She stares at the scrolls, memorizing every detail, even the dirt smudges. She drinks a thick yellow fluid, then lays down. The next thing she knows, she is falling down a tunnel. Looking at her hands, they are young and firm again. She lands in the land of the damned. A sight she thought she would never see, this side of life. She looks all around smiling, seeing several men she sent to Druj's loving embrace. Karaindash sees that Druj is sitting on the rock she is forced to use as a throne. Karaindash looks up to her goddess. The grandeur makes all the art and her imagination seem like a child's sand painting compared to her goddess face to face. Welcome, daughter. I am sorry you are forced to be here before your time. Stop with the niceties. Where is she so I can kill her? For my High Priestess of the Assassins, you do not have much restraint, daughter. My High Priestess, my best friend's daughter is dead. My daughter, my second, killed herself thinking she failed her goddess and me. I will not be at peace till her heart is beating its last beat in my hand. I understand, daughter. Elit Gula is here. She is not being tortured because she failed. She never had a chance. The heretic's child used old magic on her. The heretic, after some prompting, told me how the child knows it. Her father was a prince of a long line of kings. She is learning how to tap into the god force that is a family line gift. Although that line was not visited by a god. Old magic? My goddess Druj, I do not understand. The old magic comes from a time when the world was new, unformed, there were no laws of nature, magic was in everything and could be wielded for good or ill by its whim, not the caster's. The old magic is powerful. It is wild magic and has a great chance of killing the caster in its use. The jinn were creatures that had the old magic flowing through their veins. They were the physical embodiment of the old magic. A true smile of friendship, then your veins are hanging out of their teeth. The gods of the world were just starting to populate the new world. The war that erupted from their first meeting doomed the jinn race. They were hunted down, a race of millions, to maybe 10 left in the world. Some were captured and forced to grant the wishes to gods and man. The old magic still finds a way to cheat the wish's true purpose. It is then they started to impregnate human women. Mupallidat needed the scrolls and the objects of power to control the old magic as much as it could be controlled by a human. A light appears next to Druj, a deity appears in his astral form. As tall as Druj, dark ebony skin. Wearing a golden and white flax skirt, a smooth chest, with the head of an ibis. Daughter, this is the god Thoth. He ignores Karaindash. He is willing to help us in our problem of the old magic and how to defeat it. He was one of the first gods to come to this world when the old magic was strong. Great and wise Thoth, who archives the movements of the stars as well as a child playing on the riverbed. We need your wisdom. A child with the old magic flowing in her blood is starting to learn that power. As decreed, they must all be exterminated for the good of the world. My children need your wisdom. We need to hunt her and kill her for our own reasons. I called you once I found out she had the old magic flowing in her. How can we find her? How can we protect ourselves from her? Thoth chirps to Druj. Karaindash, did you memorize all the items from the room? Yes, my goddess. Thoth will read your mind. He will find out what it was she had in her possession. For his price, he will also read your mind for your knowledge. He is a scribe's god. Knowledge is their coin. Yes, my goddess Druj, I understand. He stares at Karaindash. Thoth turns to Druj and begins to chirp excitedly. Yes, her mother is here. Druj leads Thoth to the heretic. As he reads her, Seru is trying to scream in pain, but her lips are melded shut. Thoth looks to Druj, chirping to her in a normal tone, then he fades away. Karaindash, tomorrow you will receive a package. In it, you will find a golden orb. It will protect you from the old magic. Her mental magic is still deadly. What will this golden orb do, my goddess? It nullifies the old magic cast. It will also make her blind to you. It was the eye of the ruler of the jinns. It will also be your eye, Karaindash, for it to work. You will gouge out one of your eyes and put it in the socket. Thoth has told me I cannot see her because of the necklace she has. It stops all forms of scrying. The orb, it sees like to like. Even if she has taken another form, you will know it is her. This will take a long time to find her, Karaindash, without being able to scry for her. Your form will be taxed for a daughter of your age. When you wake you will be at age 20 again. With the last beat of her heart in your hand, when she is dead, so will you be. My gifts have a price as all the magics do. Daughter, your skills have given me many deserving men, you are far older than any high priestesses. It's time to come home after you kill her. Drag her back to the temple. Once there you will perform the darkest ritual a daughter can perform. You will make her into a goblet of Druj. Karaindash smiles with great joy. Yes, my goddess, I understand. If the last beat of my heart follows hers, I will have lived a full and worthy life for my goddess. Karaindash walked the land alone town to town. For 3 years, Druj told her not to door since Mupallidat could feel it opening. She wandered around Mesopotamia searching for a healer, priestess, wise woman, shamanist, herbalist that just appeared. She went to Egypt to investigate every lead. She was on her way to southern Asia when Druj told her in a dream the king, Mupallidat's grandfather, was slain in his bed. She is following her mother's plan still. Stupid child, she did the same as her mother, cutting off his member. I have a point to search from now, my goddess. I just need to get into the palace, without hindrance. She doored back to the mother temple, sleeping on a bed for the first time in years with ancient Casa curled on her chest. She does not dream, instead Druj called her. She tells they discussed possible places Mupallidat could be. Karaindash she would have doored out after she killed the king. Unlike her mother, Mupallidat is a coward and would not wait for the toll of the bells. My goddess, we cannot scry for her, we are blind unless she does something gloriously stupid, true daughter. I came to the understanding in my travels of many new magics. One that if you hold a body part, you can find a parent or a daughter. To tell them of their loved one's demise. I could do that and search for her like a diviner of water. I watched the Egyptian priestesses do this twice. I am confident I could do it myself. Her mother and father are dead and she has no known relatives, so it should lead me straight to her. You have always been a gambler daughter, and a good one at that. I must be close no farther than 10 miles for the part to feel family. It is time, daughter, for you to wake and track her. Druj places her finger on Karaindash's forehead. When you wake, you will be able to reach into the land of the damned for a prize. Good hunting, daughter. Karaindash wakes, sitting up, she reaches over her head, one hand goes into the land of the damned. She opens her palm and can feel a finger placed in it. Opening her hand, the finger is just as fresh as the day Druj bit them off. Going to her dresser, she pulls out a cloth wrapping the finger in it. The door opens and a temple daughter comes in. Casa, kitty, I got your milk. The temple daughter nearly drops the bowl. Who are you? Why are you in the High Priestess Karaindash's room? It is okay, daughter, I am home for just today, maybe the day after also. Karaindash shimmers and looks like her true self. Pardon me, High Priestess, I do not mean to be interrupting you. The temple daughter turns to leave. Child, you are leaving with Casa's food. Yes, High Priestess, sorry. She should be hunting the lower sections for a mouse or two. She never drank milk before, child. After you left, we became friends. She is so old, she could not catch mice anymore. I put fresh oxen blood in the milk, she seems to like that. You are a good friend to her, child. You were the temple daughter who was with me, who told me of my second's death. Are you close to flowering, daughter? I believe so, High Priestess, I have yet to flower. The High Priestess of the temple told me some daughters flower late in life. I am now the prime temple daughter, I teach the new temple daughters, tell them their daily and weekly duties. I have taken care of your room personally. You did a wonderful job, Druj herself would have been honored to sleep here. What is your name, dear? It is Bao, High Priestess. Casa comes into the room, she serpentine walks between Karaindash's feet, then goes to the girl, finally, she goes and laps up her milk. How old is she, High Priestess? Just like me. Far older than we should be. This is her 20th year, Bao. I think she wants to be burned with me at our death, that is why she is still here. Now Bao, get me some food, beer, and maps I need to study. Yes, High Priestess. Karaindash begins to write a letter to the High Priestess of the temple concerning Bao, and where she will go once she reaches the age for training. It is rare that a daughter is barren and does not flower for life. Those daughters are always welcomed into Druj's assassins. For the whole day, Karaindash was studying the maps, in a spiral, from the palace and out 600 miles. Crossing out large cities and tiny towns. She cannot do services for money due to the fact there are guilds in cities and need to know who trained you, then you pay the guild tax. In small towns, you become a major influencer due to your abilities. People will talk, village to village, till a guild representative will show demanding teacher and tax. Her places must also be near areas where the sacred herbs grow. That narrows the listing. She must be in medium-sized towns. She can go town to town beginning anew each time. If she is pregnant, that will slow her down. She will be forced for maybe 2 years to stay in one place. I have 3 years to catch up with Mupallidat. I do not need to ask Druj about the child, she would tell me to kill it. For the rest of the day, Karaindash was writing towns on a piece of paper. By the time she was done, she had 200 mid-sized towns as possible. Then there are the towns that were not on the maps, she must investigate them also. There is a knock on the door. Come in, Bao. How did you know it was me, High Priestess? I conjured demons and subjugated gods, forcing them to tell me who is at the door. Also, you are the only one who knows I am here. Bao laughs. I bought you supper, High Priestess. Thank you, dear, I did not realize I was hungry. Have you eaten? I broke fast this morning, High Priestess. Karaindash cuts off a hunk of meat. I hate eating in front of people not partaking. They talked during the meal. Karaindash puts their plates aside. Do you like to play games, Bao? We play when we can. I am the fastest daughter, so no one plays with me on speed games anymore. Speed is essential. Someone casting spells or hand chants takes a minute at the most. If you can close the distance quicker than they cast, you can stop the casters, and they are at your mercy. Karaindash digs in a pocket. Walks 50 feet away. Now act as if you are casting a spell, also hand chants Bao. Count to 60 out loud. Bao starts to count. When she hit 50, Karaindash runs up to her and blows the ground pepper in her face. Bao was sneezing and coughing on the ground. The old High Priestess picks her up and puts her on the bed. Bao's eyes were red and watering. What did you do? My vocation to Druj. I am her assassin. Sometimes it means killing someone who can cast. If Druj wanted you dead, I just killed you without a spell being said. Bao was amazed. I always thought casting spells is superior. It is if you can get the first spell off. Druj's assassins are trained in hand chants, mental magic, spell work, all weapons, sleight of hand, and poisons. We must know how to transform, so you can walk up to your victim. All they see is their mother. I see, High Priestess, thank you for teaching me. I was not teaching you, just enticing you when it is time for training. Now I want to show you a game that will carry you for the rest of your life. Go to my table and retrieve the black bag. Bao hands Karaindash the bag. Do you have any coppers? High Priestess, they do not give us money. Once you have coppers, this game is more fun than running. If you are good, you start with 1 copper, and at the end of the game, you will have all the coppers of your opponent. What is it called, High Priestess? Rule 1 of Bones and Knuckles. I am Karaindash, not High Priestess. All are equal in the game. If your opponent cannot agree to that simple rule, gather up the game pieces and leave. This is a game to have fun, not letting titles and egos ruin the game. The midnight toll rang. Casa was sleeping in her human's lap. Bao, even sleepy, loved playing the new game. Now off to bed, Bao. In the morning, bring me breakfast. I will have a package delivered to me. This is what I will need with it. Yes, Karaindash, thank you, High Priestess. Karaindash woke early. She cut locks of her hair and braided them. Then she pierced the finger so it could spin freely on the string. She writes another letter to the High Priestess of the temple about what to do with her belongings if she died. She wants Bao to be trained in weapons in between her temple daughter duties. She is already behind past temple daughters who are now daughters. It is shameful because she has not flowered, they are denied the training of the non-mystical skills. They need to be equals to the daughters who advanced before them. If you wish me to have our goddess Druj command you to do this, I will. Karaindash pored over the maps again to make sure she did not miss any towns. She went to her wall and picked out various weapons, holding the weapon that stops mental magic from being cast. The simplicity of such a powerful item. She held it in her now strong again hand, remembering all the priests of Ahura Mazda that dropped to their knees. Their mighty skills worthless as she sliced their throats, the last is just a simple carving knife. Looking at the assassin, you will never see the weapons hidden on her. Bao brought a package and a small bowl, a metal spoon, oil, and flint. She was about to leave. Karaindash told her to stay. Bao, will you do anything our goddess Druj commanded you to do, even though the pain would be great? Yes, High Priestess, her command is the law and must be done. Then sit and witness the command of Druj. For an assassin, any edge to kill your mark must be used. Watch and take it like a daughter of Druj. Your reaction will choose your future in the temple. Karaindash moves her chair so Bao could see clearly. The bowl with the golden orb inside is in her lap, the carving knife next to it. Taking a deep breath, she lifts her eyelid and slides the spoon in. With a sickening pop, the eyeball dangles from the eye socket. She picks up the carving knife, cleaning off its poison, doing a clean cut. Gently putting her eye into the bowl, reaching for the orb, it slides in as though it moved by itself to rest inside the hollow socket. Her head spun, a fire burned in her socket. There was the smell of burnt flesh. Karaindash slowly opened her eye in disbelief. She saw with it. Other than nervously crossed ankles, Bao sat in rapt attention, with no disgust and no fear. You performed admirably, Bao, you will be a strong daughter. Thank you, High Priestess. How does it feel? It is like weak alcohol in there, it stings, but not badly. High Priestess, there is a sigil on it now. Bao draws it on Karaindash's hand. That is a sigil of protection. Karaindash puts on an eye patch. Even though she can see through it, a golden eye will draw the attention of gossipers and thieves. I am ready to hunt, Bao. Karaindash pours the oil into the bowl with flint and dagger. She starts it aflame. If ever you get a finger cut off or another body part, Bao, you must destroy it, if not anyone can use it to control or find you. Yes, High Priestess. Bao, I will be gone for years, I might be dead at any time. That is the reality of an assassin, we kill our mark or our mark kills us. Yet I am ancient, so I believe I have had the edge on all my marks. Karaindash walks to her wall and pulls off a lightweight scimitar. Bao, this is yours, I had the feeling you will need it soon. Bao's eyes wide, thank you, thank you. It is beautiful. She touches an edge and draws blood on her thumb. Keep it clean and sharp, Bao, this is your life you hold in your hands. Karaindash puts her hand on Bao's head. When I come back, I will see you as a daughter of Druj. May your journey be long, and may your path be victorious in all your deeds. With that, the High Priestess leaves her room. Casa is waiting at the temple doors. She picks up the cat and rubs her head. My lovely and brave Mouser, please be here when I come back, we should be in eternity together as we were in life. She puts her down gently and walks into the desert. 5 years later. Karaindash stands in front of another town, taking off Mupallidat's finger, not even a twitch. Putting it back around her neck, she walks into the town. She first goes into the tavern. By the time a mug of beer is drunk, you generally have heard of most of the gossip around town. She spies a man with some tight and nicely done stitches. He is playing bone and knuckles with other men. She walks to him and starts to rub his neck. Leaning over, whispering in his ear, you have a very practiced hand, almost every roll goes to you. It is very experienced and quite skilled in many skills, I'm sure, may I be so daring and suggest even in the acts of pleasure. In her mind, only on your miserable tiny cock, you fat bastard. Her hand begins to rub the wound. A truly manly scar. A fight of life and death, and you walked away. She slips into the man's mind, she raises her hand, calls forth the memory he is reliving. The memory floats to her outstretched hand. Putting her hands over the leaf, she sees the tale of him tripping and cutting himself with his dagger. Karaindash laughs. Then the memory continues. Karaindash's face draws into a death grin. She is not even transformed, as if she was begging for my knife. I shall oblige you, Mupallidat, your place in eternity is waiting for you. She tells the man 20 minutes after she leaves to pull out his cock in the bar, stroking it, yelling at his friends about all his lies. It is 13 miles to her mark. The air is already cooling, with 4 hours till darkness. Karaindash ties her dress up to her waist, she then breaks out running. 2 miles away from the town, the finger is twitching madly. Karaindash begins to run faster. She sends a prayer to Druj. The heretic's daughter is found, my goddess. At the edge of the town, she bends over, breathing deep. Takes the finger off her neck and follows where it points her. She is giddy with her task being almost done. She calms her mind to observe all without distraction. She is led to a small clay hut. A marking of a healer on the door. The door is locked. The skill of years of practice with her tools, the door opens. With the stealth of ancient Casa, she crept into the home. There is a candle near a sleeping male child's bed. The finger brought her to the child. Mupallidat must be immune to the finger also. Karaindash had a dagger in one hand, in the other hand the weapon against mental magic. She was about to plunge the blade into the boy child when Mupallidat comes in, yelling at the child for leaving the door unlocked. The child wakes to scream at the woman with the blade. Mupallidat wants to know what he is screaming about. He jumps up. Karaindash slashes at his leg, cutting him deep. Mupallidat sees the slash appear on her son. She starts to scan the room. Then her eyes widen, nothing is there. Karaindash yells, knowing she can hear her. Time to sleep, you dirty cunt. Then she throws the rock. With practiced skill it lands square on Mupallidat's temple. It drops her on the spot. The child cannot be seen. Abomination, where are you, dear? Abomination, we can be good friends. I make the best mursu, I would love to give you some. The blood drops stop, she can see no one. Then she sees a ghostly shadow in the darkness. She raises her hand to throw the dagger. The boy points at her. Karaindash collapses to her knees. He runs to his mother, trying to drag her away. Karaindash throws the dagger. The boy starts to spin. Karaindash sees he is trying to create a door. She jumps on the heretic's daughter with another dagger. The child knows he can't save his mother. He curses Karaindash. She goes blind in her eye of flesh. He used his mother's magic. Try harder, abomination. Mupallidat starts to move. Karaindash must decide, the mother or the boy. She chose the mother. The boy spun faster, finally creating a door, leading his mother. Karaindash carves a symbol on the heretic's daughter's forehead. It makes the person unable to cast mental magic. She is bound hand and foot, screaming, who or what is doing this? Karaindash laughs, that is right, you are blind to me, Celestial Daughter Mupallidat. You owe Druj, and she's going to make you suffer till the next 5 eons have passed. Mupallidat hears a woman laugh then. Karaindash throws her over her shoulder. The High Priestess raises her hand to open a door. You should look forward to your eternal life as a goblet of Druj, heretic's daughter. Mupallidat starts to scream and wail, thrashing to be free from the fate of her eternal life. Get it out, heretic's daughter, scream and scream. When I am done, no one will hear your voice ever again. Just think, ancient Karaindash, the High Priestess of the Assassins, will make you into Druj's voice for eternity. You will always be yearning to tell the truth of the ages, to force the dead to tell the truth, to see the past and future and have no ability to change it. I have the blades sharpened and waiting for your flesh, the coals to be lit as we come back to the temple. I do know a way to make you suffer in eternal torment, unable to stop the pain that will drive you mad. With Druj's blessing, of course. Now let's go home, heretic's daughter. Druj's judgment waits for you. Karaindash brings the heretic's daughter to a hidden room off the main temple. She places a bag over the heretic's daughter's head so the helpers will not know the guest to Druj's temple. She called for Bao, and the daughters from the assassin sect helped to bind her to the chair. As they are leaving, she calls Bao to her side. Karaindash takes the bag off. She sits on a chair. Daughter, I need you to help me. I know you will keep this as a secret into the grave and beyond. Karaindash lets the visage of being young drop from her. Daughter, it started when I came back from capturing the heretic's daughter. Druj made me young for the hunt. The abomination who shall be known for eternity as Abilsin, the son of sin, cursed me, forcing me to my true form. I am going back to my true age too quickly, my eye of the flesh is grey as twilight, my teeth fall out as I talk. She touches her hair, a huge section falls out where her hand was. Druj told me I would die after the celestial daughter dies. But not like this. I can feel my body is not getting older, it is like I was shoved into a hot oven and am being burned, much like a haunch of pork that has been left in too long, drying out. I cannot do the ritual. Sala is the daughter of my best friend, who this shitlicker of Ahura Mazda murdered. She bade me to make her feel pain before Druj's judgment is fulfilled. On the table are a hammer, chisel, a vice, needles, also wooden splinters for her nails. In the brazier is 2 scimitars. I need you to honor my pledge to Sala. I need you to aid me in fulfilling the due to Druj and pledge to Sala. Can you do this for me, Bao? I will honor your pledge, High Priestess. We will give the celestial daughter the love and wisdom of Druj. You honor me for asking me for the duty of love and bloody vengeance of friendship. No, Bao, you have given me the honor of accepting this dark duty that at the most is done once a century. High Priestess, if you cannot rely on a sister assassin to aid you, who can you rely on? The daughters of Druj are known as liars, never keeping their word. That is not true. We aid our sisters, you never lie to your sisters. You have learned much since I have been on my journey, Bao. Later, we can play a game for coppers. High Priestess, they still do not give us money. Then a friendly game for an old friend. The ancient High Priestess gives the young daughter in training a scroll. Do not unroll the scroll till you have been made priestess. Yes, High Priestess, thank you. Bao, check the brazier, are the scimitars ready? Yes, High Priestess. Let us begin then. First, we will start with the splinters, make sure that they are at the most an inch sticking out, no more, no less. We will use them to make sure she is not using meditation to rise above the pain. We shall leave her head alone. That is for Druj's due. 10 hours later, Bao looks at her handiwork. It is rough, but it shall get better the more she needs information from the unwilling. The celestial daughter was passed out from the pain. Bao, wake the heretic's daughter, it is time. Bao walks up and shoves the splinters in deeper. Mupallidat screams herself awake. Heretic's daughter, finally the tally of your debt to Druj has come due. The ancient High Priestess sends to Bao the will and directions of what needs to be done. Heretic's daughter, this rite only works on an unwilling victim, she who is wide awake, silently screaming. You need to experience this in the full and glorious nightmarish terror that it truly is. Knowing that your mother, the heretic, started you on this dark journey. Your mother damned you onto this journey. Your mother pointed you down your path to eternal pain and humiliation. You came unwillingly to feel the kiss of the blades. You came unwillingly for the flame of truth. To feel your life as you knew it peeled, very slowly, away. Our blades are craving your flesh, a chisel for your bone. All are waiting only for you. Once we are done, the tools shall be destroyed. Your vileness will stain them. Now be silent for eternity, unable to utter a sound again. Karaindash waves her hand over the heretic's daughter, her eyes wide, her lungs pumping air into her mouth, yet no sound comes forth. Now, celestial daughter, the last throw of the bones and knuckles has been cast, you lost, and your debt must be paid. Heretic's daughter, she who birthed a boy child, she who murdered my friend's daughter, your mother's shade. Let us make you into a goblet of Druj now. 5 days later, Bao holds the goblet eye to eye socket. The runes were carved deep in the bone of the goblet. She hands the goblet to the High Priestess. Good, she screams for eternity in unrelenting pain. Bao, this is the last act of Druj's design. The young daughter smiles, a truly fitting home High Priestess. Bao doors to the city, she appears as a night watchman. She goes to the royal stool room. Yes, celestial daughter, your bed for as long as the sun rises and the sun sets. Enjoy your eternity. She tips her hand with a satisfying sound. The celestial daughter is home, at last. Her journey, her long path to her bedchambers, is finally over. Bao aided in doing the will of Druj, she aided her sponsor. She doors back to the room. The High Priestess is asleep in the chair. Now to get ancient Casa from her bed to the High Priestess's bed. Bao sends to the current High Priestess of the Assassins asking her to gather Casa and to meet in the ancient High Priestess's room for her time is short. The High Priestess comes to the room and helps Bao bring the ancient High Priestess to her bed. Bao places Casa on Karaindash's chest. She puts her withered hand on her cat. My proud and mighty Mauser, we sisters can finally sleep in the arms of Druj. Bao, I need a friend, a sister for my last breath. Please do not allow me to die old, infirm, shitting in my bed. I want to die as the assassin that I have always been. Bao looks to the current High Priestess. She hands Bao a dagger. Even though she wishes to show emotion, Bao remained emotionless as she slices her friend's throat, her sponsor into the assassin sect, her first High Priestess, then she kills Casa, so they are together eternally, as they were in life. The sun is setting, the vision that Al-Shurda has shared with her daughters fades. Dagram and Shadrach are practicing and arguing about what their sisters and High Priestess have been doing all day. That is the long tale of Abilsin, the son of sin, his mother, his grandmother, and his strength. That is why Mupallidat's name was struck from the line of celestial daughters. High Priestess, what of Bao? Her life is a long tale. I will be glad to share it with you someday. Mother, why did you not show us how the heretic's daughter was turned into the relic, a goblet of Druj? Only Druj herself will show you the darkest work a priestess will ever do. It is her honor, and it is your burden, to know such an act. Sisters have been known to kill themselves weeks, even years, after the ritual. The burden of that dark knowledge with its dark rite takes a terrible toll. Now daughters, we need to talk to Dagram about sharing her memories with Baluda. Baluda's memories. Al-Shurda sends to the daughters to sit, talk, and enjoy the moonlight. We have an essential matter to discuss tonight. Since Sister Jude died before she could pass her memories to Baluda, we have a dangerous situation for Baluda and ourselves. Baluda is blind to our new world. Her only understanding is when we tell her. That takes precious time if we need to fight or run. She needs to have one of your host memories to be passed to her. Shadrach speaks up. I will share with her High Priestess. That is a kind gesture, Shadrach. I have to say no. We live in your host's house, her father, and the Viper. It would be too easy for Baluda to slip and say what she should not say at an inappropriate time. I am sorry, Shadrach. Yes, High Priestess, I have understanding. Dagram speaks up. I will gladly share my host memories. Sister Jean would have loved to be able to aid a sister in need. Al-Shurda feels the Viper coming towards them. She sends it to her daughter. Daughters, I will handle this. What are you doing in my yard all day, just sitting there and staring at each other? Blondie and the cunt's daughter were fighting with swords till 10 minutes ago, then they set their fat asses down and joined in the googly eye parade. Good evening, Susan. We practiced our sword skills in the morning and chose to do our meditations out in the sun and then the cool night. Would you like to join us? Sally would be glad to show you how. I wouldn't show her the edge of a cliff just to push her off. Namkuzu sends to Shadrach. Shut up. The High Priestess told us she would handle it. You just made it worse now. Namkuzu and the High Priestess notice Shadrach won't or can't send. So, the little slut shows her teeth finally. When it comes time to kick you out, I will have the sheriff be here, then he will check all your belongings to make sure you did not steal anything of mine, such as those crates. You money-grubbing bitch, you take one step towards our belongings. I will gladly show you the years of my martial arts skills. Now you're threatening me in my own house. Shadrach was starting to say something. Al-Shurda shuts up Shadrach. Please excuse the young one. Sally is only mad that Dagram beat her several times at weapons play. Hit too many times in the head. Namkuzu is using her mental magic to calm Shadrach down. Dagram is trying to send to her, but she is not answering. Why isn't the muscle girl saying something? Bit dulla. Do you want to say something? It looks like you want to, muscle man in a dress. Beluda just sits and stares at a star. She sends to Namkuzu, I will lock my arm around her neck and show her how strong I am. I will kick her between her legs. That way, you will get a better grip on her. We shall retire to Sally's room. Susan, I am sorry we disturbed you. Girls, let us leave and prepare for sleep. Dagram and Namkuzu had to hold Shadrach so she would not attack Susan. As they left to go to the bedroom, Alshurta sent to Shadrach. I told you I would handle this, and you just made it a dreadful situation, Shadrach. She still is not sending, but Alshurta hears her thoughts. What or who is a Shadrach? Alshurta puts her finger on Shadrach's third eye with a command. Follow me. The daughters have not seen what is happening with the High Priestess and Shadrach. In the room, she tells Shadrach to disrobe and sleep. As soon as Shadrach's head hit her pillow, she was deep asleep. Alshurta sends to Namkuzu, daughter, I do not know what is happening to her. At first, I have believed it was a host ghost. She is getting worse, daughter. There is so little known of the rite of transfer. I do not know if I failed Shadrach and have harmed her. Mother, I say we sit her in the middle of us tomorrow and dig through her mind till we find out what is wrong. I agree. It is a drastic action, but it is the only thing we can do to finally understand what is going on in her mind. Now, daughter, we will give Beluda, Dagram's memories. I shall watch you perform the transfer. It is just like when a high priestess passes her memories to her newborn daughter. Do you feel confident doing this, daughter? You honor me, mother. Thank you. Beluda placed her head in Dagram's lap, and Namkuzu was sitting on a chair behind her sister, her hands on either side of her sister's head. Alshurta whispers to Beluda. Daughter, open your mind, as when I teach you the mental magics. It will start as a trickle, then a raging river. Let it flow into you and become one as it fills you up. Most importantly, daughter, do not resist. Do you understand? Yes, High Priestess. Dagram, Namkuzu will reach into your mind and find Jean's memories. You must think as Jean would, daughter. That is important, nothing of you, only Jean. Find her loves, her hates. They will be a guide for Namkuzu. Daughters, are you ready? Yes, mother, yes, High Priestess. Alshurta lights a candle, stare at this and relax Beluda. Then she turned out the lights. For the next hour, Alshurta watches her daughters with pride. Namkuzu and Dagram are performing excellently. When it was finished, the three daughters disrobed and began the sleep of the dead. Druj would be proud. Alshurta caressed each daughter's face and joined her daughters in sleep. June 9th. 46 days to escape. 3 a.m. The night is dark, and a quarter moon hangs in the sky. The instincts that have kept Alshurta alive scream at her to move. Becoming wide awake, rolling from the futons and jumping up with her back against the wall. Looking at the room in the darkness. No one is here. The daughters are sleeping. No, Shadrach is awake. Is that a kitchen knife she is holding? Hello, Sister Sophia. Or are you Alshurta? I get confused. This one sees Alshurta as an older woman that she fears and loves with equal measure. Yet she sees you, Sister Sophia, as Alshurta, young and beautiful, who she still fears and loves equally. Can you explain to me why these memories are contradictory? I looked in the mirror on my way to get the knife. I was not looking back at myself, Sister Sophia. Why is someone I have only seen in my dreams, why did she look back at me? The real questions, Sophia. Why did you lie to me? Why is she in my body? May we bring this someplace other than this room? My daughters slumber, we do not need to wake them. You will be outnumbered quickly if you attack me. Let's go outside. I do not want to be trapped in a room. If I need to kill you, I will need space. Sound thinking, Sally. Although if you can see the memories of Shadrach, you know that is very hard to do. You do not know me, Sophia. I am also hard to kill. As you can see, I am still here. Alshurda is sitting on a wicker couch, inviting Sally to sit next to her. Sally is hesitant. Alshurda is exasperated. Sally, I will not attack you unless attacked. You should know this already. Sally sits next to Alshurda. I made love to you, Sophia. We shared our bodies, our souls with each other. Or so I thought. You promised Sister Jean and me to be daughters of pleasure and desire, daughters of the flesh. I woke up tonight, Sister Jean was sleeping naked next to me. I thought you did what you said, for beautiful naked women, sleeping with me. Then these memories started to bubble in my mind. I see Jean in flashes, of her being my sister. But Sister Jean also looks like someone else at the same time. I sat for hours, remembering bits that were not my life. I am not a daughter of pleasure or desire, not even a daughter of the flesh. I am a puppet. You sleep in my father's house, you have accepted his generosity under my name. The only thing I understand is this person inside of me knows without a doubt you will kill Susan very painfully. Now to the real questions, Sophia. Why did you lie to me? Why is she in my body? First, Sally, you need more than truth. You need the understanding of my truth. As you hear my truth, listen to Shadrach. She will tell you if I lie or tell the truth. You all lie. That is what you do. Would I lie to a daughter of Druj? That is what you are in a sense. Not as Sally, not as Shadrach. Yet it seems you two are now as one. As you said, I have seen you bubble to the surface many times. I have been thinking about this. I do not have the understanding even to form the questions of the how and the why. The truth, Sally, is that you are not supposed to be here. I will now give you my truth, the truth of the last High Priestess of Druj and Gremanu. My goddess asked me to free her from her cage of eternal darkness. My journey started in Syria many years in the past. My goddess asked, so I did the will of Druj. She who I love almost as much as my Namkuzu. Namkuzu, Shadrach, Dagram, and Beluda were my goddess's most devout daughters. They were priestesses in training. Is Shadrach telling you I lie? No, she is not. Sister Jean, or Dagram, which is her true name, is a true blood sister to Shadrach. They love each other deeply. Even though they argue all the time, they have killed for each other. That is one reason I chose you and Jean to host the sisters. The love you had with Jean was as pure as they have with each other. Why, Sophia, why? Imagine Sally. You worship a goddess, you have seen this goddess, you have talked to this goddess. You know that she is real. Your goddess tells you that you can save your daughter, who you love more than the goddess herself. My dark goddess commanded me to bring my daughter home. Because my daughter is also her daughter. The magics you were taught came from your goddess. She told you to save my daughter from the slavers. They had Namkuzu for 10 years. I killed them all. The mercy I gave them was a far quicker death that they truly deserved. Your goddess asks you to save her from the prison she has been cast into. This is what others would run away in terror knowing the path that she asked. It would be long, never to be seen, never to hear, never seeing another on your path, on your journey. She is your goddess, how can you deny her? When you thought you were alone on this path that she tasked you. She tells you to bring your daughters to your side again, all to aid you in freeing her. Your goddess has been trapped in the dark longer than the mountains have been a bump in the earth. For 2 eons, your goddess has yearned to be free again. What would you do, Sally? Would you deny your goddess even though all she has done and has given to you? She helped to find and kill those that made your daughter a slave. Will you use what you were given to fulfill her desire? You know what my choice was. The question, Sally, what would you have done? If I continue this way, we will be sitting till nightfall of the next day. Let me show you my life. It will be as quick as the mind can think. Alshurda places her finger on Sally's brow. Interesting, you have a strong door into your mind. Shadrach's is not as strong. Al-Shurta lets her journey in her life be shown. All is shown but the magics that she knows. Fuck, that is your goddess? I would worship her out of fear. A deity who respects one who has fear in the heart worshipping her, for her power deserves neither one. A goddess deserves the love of her worshippers, she will give that love back to them. You have seen the gifts that my dark goddess has given me for my true love. Others she has given the bare minimum. They love her, not with their whole heart. The god that those in the monastery worshipped, they lived in fear of his wrathful anger. As Sophia said several times, rules are needed in a God-fearing society. My dark goddess is feared, not by her worshippers. The Catholic god worshippers were sadists, with vile perversions, being cruel, treating women as shit under their sandal. Those in power could have made life better for those under them. Did they? No. Were there priestesses under Druj that were the same? I would be an ignorant idiot to say no. The daughters of Druj are never ignorant. Whose deity is better to their worshippers? My dark goddess Druj. She grants you the power of the mind, insight into another's being, the long life of youth, also physical transformation. In return, all she asks is blood, which we call essence, also the essence of sex. We raise power with sex and blood. We kill men and send their essence to our goddess. Thus, she gives us more gifts. She sings the song of the universe, and we dance in the blood. You will kill my daddy? No, Sally. In my very long life, I call him a good man. He is the gem under a dung heap. The only good man I have ever met. I had to travel for 5,000 years to find one. He truly surprises me every day. He loves you as much as your beautiful mother. I have walked in his mind, I know his truth. Good for all, not for him alone. I still do not understand why he has not killed the viper in his house. I agree she should have had an accident long ago. Sally, you are thinking as a daughter of Druj. We rarely kill a fellow sister. But she fits into the traitor of sisters category, as in what she has done to you, selling you to the church. She is now going to cast you from the house of your father, penniless. Yes, Sally, she will die very painfully. You have my truth. Now you know the why of what I did. You know my life. Do you have the understanding? It wasn't fair, Al-Shurta. I had a life. Trapped in a nun's habit. Being controlled every day with, thou shalt not, thou art forbidden, worship me or suffer. You were hiding your love for other women in fear of that supposed god of love. He is just a petty tyrant. The same as Ahura Mazda, who cast Druj to the land of the damned. I am sorry, Sally, was that life? The viper killed you when she sold your life away. She sold your body to that so-called god. Dying every day bit by bit, by being a nun till you truly died. I do not want to be shoved back inside, Al-Shurta, deep in my own body seeing the world through my eyes. No, I will only see through her eyes. Al-Shurta puts her arm around Sally. Tonight, we will perform the rite of converse with our goddess Druj. She will know the how. She will know the why. I will come to an understanding, daughter. I understand if you do not wish to sleep. Put some clothes on in case your father wakes. Do you wish me to stay with you? No, I will listen to some music. I need to think. We call that, come to an understanding. It is elusive, once you have understanding. The world is open. 45 days to escape. 5 a.m. A light knock is at the door. Girls, it's James, will you open the door, please? Al-Shurta rises from her chair, yes James. I found Sally dead asleep in my den. Can you open the door, she is heavier since she was 12. As he is about to put Sally down on the bed in the darkness, he sees all the girls asleep on the bed are nude. He puts Sally down. Al-Shurta, do you all sleep in the nude together? Yes, why James, is there a problem? No, it does not bother me at all. I have known Sally was a lesbian for years. Do not let Susan find out. She is very intolerant of anything alternative. Are you sure, James? She seems to have a problem with anything that is not her. She was not always this way, Alshurda. I don't know what happened. James, it is greed. It starts when they are young, stealing a toy from a good friend. As the person grows older, they learn to lie to gain more, but are never content with what they have. I expected more from you, Alshurda, to come to that conclusion so rashly. Sally told all of us about her, James. I do not come to a conclusion by word alone. The first 10 minutes I had the misfortune of being with Susan, I knew all that Sally had said was true and more. Reluctantly, Alshurda, I must agree with you. I hear valor calling me. Since I am an old man surrounded by beautiful naked girls, I shall do my imitation of Snagglepuss. James does an exaggerated theatrical accent. Exit stage left. James almost ran out of the room. He gave Alshurda her first real smile in days. What is a Snagglepuss? The High Priestess does not like to exclude a daughter from the discussions that affect them all. In their dreams, Dagram, Namkuzu, and Baluda are with their High Priestess sitting in their ancient temple. Daughters, tonight, I must do the rite of converse to Druj. I need to talk to our goddess on a matter of importance. I cannot tell you the why till the question is answered. It shall affect our small coven. Dagram asks, why is Shadrach not with us, since it affects us all? Dagram, I cannot say till I have talked to Druj. Dagram stands, with fury and concern in her voice. Why is she not with us? Tell me what is happening to my sister. Daughter, has she shown an action she has never done before we came to the new world? Dagram, sister to Shadrach, daughter of Druj. Have you talked to her, getting the feeling that she is not there, even though she is right in front of you? Sally did not die, Dagram. Shadrach is sharing her mind with her host body. Her host shares her body with Shadrach. Sally is fighting to gain control once again. Shadrach has yet to figure out that this is happening, so she will lose the battle. Something went wrong in the rite of transfer, daughter. I must have done something wrong with the rite. I was the one who drew the sigils on Shadrach. Dagram runs to her High Priestess, throwing her to the ground, and begins to punch her in the face. Alshurda does not fight back. Must have done something wrong. You are our High Priestess. We trusted you. My sister trusted you. Now she shares a body with an idiot child. You are saying I will lose my sister. Fix her now, High Priestess. Baluda and Namkuzu pulled Dagram off their High Priestess. That is why I ask for the rite of converse, daughters. Druj knows, she will tell me the how and the why. I shall come to an understanding so I may heal Shadrach and expel Sally. Dagram, I am sorry that I did this. I did not think of the consequences. No, High Priestess, there is always a price to the magics, and my sister is paying that price. I wish it was me. She is my little sister. I should be the one to pay the price, not her. Alshurda walks to Dagram and puts her arm around her. It is time to go back to the waking world. Do not alarm your sister, Dagram. Sally knows the truth that Shadrach inhabits her body. Shadrach has no idea of Sally. We must keep it this way till I get my answer. All three say in unison, yes, High Priestess. Shadrach wakes to see the High Priestess has her elbow on the arm of the chair, her hand is on her brow. This is the first time since she became her daughter. It looks like her true age is bearing down hard on her small frame. High Priestess? High Priestess? Alshurda? Yes, daughter, sorry, I was thinking of thousands of miles away and years ago. How was your sleep, dear? Have you remembered any dreams yet? Not yet, High Priestess. I go to sleep, I wake up. Nothing in between. I hope to find a way to fix that, daughter. Tonight, we are doing the rite of converse. I have not talked to Druj since the monastery. I must know the plans she has for us in this new world. She needs to be told what we are doing and where we are. Now let us wake your sisters and break our fast. Alshurda is making pancakes, Namkuzu is setting the table, Dagram is trying to figure out the juicer, Baluda is making a pot of coffee, Shadrach is slicing pears. Alshurda stiffens. Daughters, beware, the viper is slithering toward us. Do not respond to her jabs. We will slice her throat with kind words and actions. Weak and wretch when we go back to Sally's room. Alberta, you look like a toy soldier dressed like that. Oh, look, the man-ape is making coffee, Beluda sends to Dagram. Thank you, sister, I know what a man-ape is now. Would you like a cup, Susan? It smells like you burnt it. I think I will rather have Drano, rather than that, swill. Susan laughs, looking at Dagram, not understanding how to work the machine. Her host used to hand squeeze them. I never believed the tales of blondes being dumb till today. Dear little stepdaughter. Should I be afraid of the paring knife? Oh. No, you're a Chuck Norris, want to be and kick my ass. 3 weeks till you are thrown out of this house, without a dime to your name and forever denied seeing her sweet daddy again. Susan's phone rang. She gets up and leaves the house. High Priestess, yes ma'am Kuzu? For not being trained in the mental magics, her door is strong. Yes, it is because of years of being a very good liar. She had to steel her mind to keep those lies straight. I snuck in the first day, she realized I was there right away. The only true way into her mind is to kick her door in. It will damage her greatly, but that is the cost I am willing to pay. Now daughter, leave her to me, she is mine to play with, as a cat to a mouse, my claws are longer and sharper than yours, Namkuzu. Where is Shadrach, daughter? Namkuzu goes silent. Closing her eyes. Seeking her sister in the house. I see she is in Susan's room. Alberta quickly walks to the Viper's room, throwing the door open. What do you think you are doing, daughter? You do not control me, hag. I am not her, your so-called daughter, so stop yelling at me. Sally, what are you doing here? I need something of mine, she will never know it is gone. I am sure the Viper counts the silver when she wakes. Just to force us out quicker, we're calling the city guard to jail us. I see the latter as her mode of action. Sally picks up a ring. This makes it worth it, my mother's ring. She never wears it since the diamond is too small. Sally, I do not care. Our mission is too great for a treasure you can only enjoy till the city guards come to capture us. Put it back or else I will make you. I do not care about your precious goddess. Before Sally can finish her sentence, she is stiff as a board. Sally, shut up now. Put the ring exactly where you found it, now follow me. As they walk through the kitchen, the daughters see that Shadrach is not moving of her own accord. Alberta closes the door with the daughters outside of Sally's room. Now sit in the chair. You can talk now. You had best care about my goddess, young one. If we fail, she will find a way to drag us all to the land of the damned. If you were the reason we failed our goddess, I would gladly aid in your punishment as well as my daughters. It would not be a day, not a year, not 100 years, but for eternity. We are here for one reason only. I did not walk in the darkness all those years to have a child destroy what Druj planned herself. Fuck you. Then Sally begins to scream. No host, fuck you. That pain is nothing compared to what you will experience for eternity. You have seen my powers, child. I could do much worse to you, no matter where you hide. If I must, you will be frozen in place until I can find a way to expel you from Shadrach. The pain goes away. Are you willing to talk, or should I shut your mouth again? I will talk, Alberta. Good, you are a smart young woman, use that intelligence, not passion, Sally. I told you I will kill her. Wait it out, and you will get your mother's ring then. Do not threaten our purpose in this time. Do not threaten Druj's journey to the new world. Think, child, do you want your father to see you happy and free or locked up in a prison? You do not know how it feels to have something stolen and are unable to get it back, Alberta. You read my mind last night and you have the gall to tell me I do not understand? Namkuzu was stolen when she was 6 and sold to the slavers. 10 years a child to a woman, a slave to the pigs that are men. With the aid of Druj, I found her. You are trying to tell me a ring is a greater loss than your blood, daughter? Use your intelligence, which I know you have. You have 2 choices, 2 paths you can take. Until we met at the monastery, you had one long journey of a boring, unjoyful path, till your death. Now you can choose two paths: allow Shadrach to do what she came for, that is the true prize we are seeking. Or having to be thrown into a home for the mentally sick till you die. I mean what I say, Sally, and you best choose one of those choices. One gives me the ability to seek out my goddess and fix what is happening with you until I can find a way to split you from Shadrach. Or I will make you a drooling child, never able to speak until you die. Realize this: if you try to lie, I will know, then that means you chose the latter as opposed to freedom. Sally, decide now. I lost my patience in Susan's bedroom. Yes, Alshirda, I choose not to go into a madhouse. Promise me you will get her out of my body right away. After I talk to Druj, I will know what needs to be done. Will you leave Susan alone and act properly around her? After several heartbeats, yes, I will leave the cunt alone. I want to be there when you kill her. I already planned that, Sally. I would not deny you the joy of seeing her die screaming. That's a deal, then, Alshirda. Can I move now? I need to pee from being clenched up. Sally jumps up running. She nearly bowls over the daughters after she opened the door to run to the bathroom. What did you tell her, mother? What I had to, so we will be able to perform our duties. When I learn how. She will be cast from the body, leaving a host for Shadrach. Daughters, watch her in case she forgets to leave Susan alone. The day crawled by for the daughters, 4 of them need wisdom from their goddess. Sally must go away so Shadrach can be with them fully. Sally is excited to get the obnoxious girl out of her body. She does not even think of where she will go, just as she is gone. To pass the time, she starts to look at what this one can do with magic. She plans to remember as much of this as she can. It will be handy to kill Susan by herself. 9 p.m. Alshirda, when do we eat supper? We ate this morning, Sally. We eat once a day. It is part of our physical discipline. But I'm hungry, Sally. The rite will start in an hour. When we are done, then you can eat. What does the spell do, Alshirda? It will allow me to go to my goddess in astral form. I shall tell her of you and how to split Shadrach from your body. Where is Shadrach going? That is what I am looking for, child. Druj is wise, she knows all. She will tell me all that I need to know. Sally, tell your father we will be doing meditations and to ignore the sounds. Make sure the viper is still gone. I cannot keep my attention split. I can't watch for her and talk to our goddess. Sally comes back. He said he was going to sleep anyway. Since Susan is not home now, she won't be back till tomorrow. Okie dokie, what do I do next? You do nothing, Sally. Let Shadrach wake so we can do the right. Alshirda, I know everything she knows. You don't need her. Alshirda sends to the others. The next thing Sally felt was her mental door being forced in. Then all 4 of them are screaming at her to let Shadrach out. You should know, Sally, I will never ask twice. When we first talked, you said that Shadrach loved and feared me with equal measure. I love my daughters equally. They know what is expected of them and what happens when they disobey me. I am their teacher in the magics. You are not a daughter, so you have no right to training. Now let Shadrach out. Or should I show you my displeasure? I will not yell at you, Sally. I will be more forceful in my demands. I shall give you a lesson, one that could save your life one day. I can see that the word no has not been used much on you. You are intelligent with very few wants, so no was never needed much. If I tell you no, it has 2 possible meanings. 1, you are not ready. 2, because I say so. I try to never use the second, because that is the mark of a poor teacher. Never question me on no. I shall count to 3. If Shadrach is not out, I will come in and lock you in a closet. 1, 2, High Priestess? Yes, Shadrach, prepare for the right, daughters. The moon is almost at her height. June 12th. 12 a.m. The daughters lay on the floor. Each with her head between her sister's legs, each starts to kiss and lick their sister's mound. The sensations entice each other for the long, slow touch of the tongue worshipping their temple and altar. For 10 minutes, the essence of woman begins to grow. Alshirda is standing in the middle of her daughter's ring of passion. She slowly twirls, gathering the essence with her left hand and directing it with her right hand. As the High Priestess gathers the essence, the daughters become more forceful in their worship of each other. Each knows what her sister loves and craves. Each is pleasured till they do not know where they are, except in a field of bliss. Alshurda is in a crouching position, twirling slowly, her hands making complex finger gestures with hand gestures. As her daughters bring forth another wave of ecstasy, she slowly rises. For another 20 minutes, she rises, calling Druj to invite her for converse. A light is engulfing the High Priestess. As she sits down cross-legged, her spirit leaves her body, she flies to the land of the damned,